Good morning, good morning. Greatest president ever. Happy Tuesday.
Is just absolutely ridiculous that this country sits back and allows a country such as Iran to hold our hostages. To my way of thinking, is a horror. And I don't think they're doing with other countries. I honestly don't think they're doing with other countries.
Obviously, you're advocating that we should have gone in there with troops, etc., and got our boys out.
Talking about Iran for years when he was young.
There's no question in my mind. I think right now we'd be an oil-rich nation, and I believe that we should have done it, and I'm very disappointed that we didn't do it, and I don't think anybody would have held us in abeyance. I don't think anybody would have been angry with us, and we had every right to do it at the time. I think we've lost the opportunity.
That man Trump, bro, might just be the YT version of King Von. I ain't never seen a president catch bodies the way that Trump catching these bodies. Just about a month ago, this man went over to a whole nother country and stole a human being out of his own crib. How you steal a whole human? They said within 3 minutes, they had already captured. And then this weekend, the Iran person, he said, death to America. The very next day, they said, that same news company said, well, guys, we got to confirm his body is gone. I said, hold on, bro.
Like and subscribe.
You can say what you want to. But listen, if you say one thing bad about America, you're going to do.
When you get the respect of the other countries, then the other countries tend to do a little bit as you do, and you can create the right attitudes. The Iranian situation is a case in point. That they hold
Good morning, pretty.
hostages is just absolutely and totally ridiculous. That this country sits back and allows a country such as Iran to hold our hostages, to my way of thinking, is a horror. And I don't think they're doing with other countries. I honestly don't think they're doing with other countries.
Obviously, you're advocating that we should have gone in there with troops, etc., and got our boys out.
I absolutely feel that, yes. I don't think there's any question, and there's no question in my mind. I think right now would be an oil-rich nation, and I believe that we should have done it, and I'm very disappointed that we didn't do it, and I don't think anybody would have held us in abeyance. I don't think anybody would have been angry with us. And we had every right to do it at the time. I think we've lost the opportunity.
That man Trump, bro, might just be the YT version of King Von. I ain't never
King
seen
Von, Chicago there.
Bodies the way that Trump catching these bodies. Just about a month ago, this man.
Good morning. The lefty Democrats, they keep on tripping. They keep on winning. Our votes we voted for, we winning.
How you steal a whole human? They said within 3 minutes, they had already captured. And then this weekend, the Iran person, he said, death to America. The very next day, they said, that same news company said, well, guys, we got to confirm his body is gone. I said, hold on, bro. You can say what you want to, but listen. If you say one thing bad about America, if you're going to do something to America, I'm going to say it like this, you're going to be handled real quick. I ain't never seen a president. He catching bodies. He catching bodies like quick, too.
All right, guys, so we got to talk about the Trump administration officials getting questions from the mainstream level media about the current operation in Iran.
I understand, to your point here, that you don't want to broadcast everything for our adversaries to hear, but the American people also want to know what they're sending their men and women to war for. Is there a concern of this spiraling into a longer war? And then one for the chairman when you're done.
Did you not hear my remarks? I mean, we're ensuring the mission gets accomplished, but we are very clear-eyed, as the president has been, unlike other presidents, about the foolish policies of the past that recklessly pulled us in to things that were not tethered to actual clear objectives. So we know we have plans, we have generals, we have chairmen, we have commanders, CENTCOM commanders, Admiral Cooper, who's executing very deliberately to ensure outcomes that I laid out are accomplished. But we would never, in front of a press pool, lay out how long that may take. The mission for our war
Right, it makes no sense to the whole press what's going on. They've done it in the past, telling them the time, the day, and everything. And you expect the plan to go right? No, don't tell them nothing.
You said this is not a one-night operation. It'll take time to achieve the goals.
There's always a mold.
What would be the goal line here for you?
I think the Secretary laid out the military objectives, and that's what we execute against is the military objectives.
Okay, because of course the media is taking the time to press this administration in ways they never would for Democrats, right? The media did not have as many questions about the botched operation in Afghanistan as they have right now about Iran, which, I mean, I get it. I understand, we're bombing them, and who knows how long this is going to last. Like I told you guys, I am skeptical but cautiously optimistic in the sense that, hey, it's not one of those things where I am, openly cheering on because it's war, right? And I would prefer not to have these type of conflicts. But hey, if we're going to have this type of conflict, if we're going to do it, I think Trump's the guy to lead it, right? And I trust the president, and I'm rooting for a positive outcome, right? This is why I say
good morning, Kathy. Good morning.
But cautiously optimistic, okay? And that, I think, is the best position to take right now. And that is why I just listen to this administration, and I just hope and pray that they're right, okay? I really do believe that we're going to do a prolonged military operation. This is the administration that I trust to do it, right? You got Pete Hegseth, who I think has proven himself to be a very, very, very competent Secretary of War. You got Raising Cane, right? General. You got Marco Rubio. You got Trump. You got JD. Tulsi. You have
it's an all-star,
right? Of individuals that I trust. Okay, I'm like, all right, if we're gonna do it, these are our guys, right? This is who we're going with, right? This is who is leading us. Okay. If we're going to do military operations like this, and I trust them way more than I trusted the people under the Bush administration, the Obama administration, under the Biden administration, because they've proven that when we do these type of military operations, it's going to be fast, it's going to be furious, it's going to be efficient, it's going to be lethal. We're taking out everybody, right? We are getting a lot better at this, okay? So we're going to see how it goes this time around. Again, I am skeptical, but at the same time,
good morning. Subscribe.
The reason why is because of individuals like Marco Rubio, who I believe is probably one of the best Secretary of States that we've had in a long time.
He's way better than Hillary,
and probably leading contender at this point to be the GOP nominee in 2028 if he chooses to run. Because I really do believe if it's between him and JD, I think that Marco at this point probably will pull it out just based off the fact that he is operating at levels that we haven't seen a politician operate in a long, long, long time. He is the complete and total package. And I think that the way that he handled these reporters' questions is just another example of why.
Thank you. Agree. That's what's up, God King.
So, without further ado, let's watch Big Marco. Right? He's not little.
Big Marco.
Take down these questions from these reporters.
And by the way, they've been doing it under sanction. You see the attacks they're conducting right now? They're attacking airports.
Thank you.
They're attacking hotels.
Good morning.
They're hitting not just military bases. They're attacking our embassies directly. They're attacking facilities that have nothing to do with war or with military. And that's a weakened Iran. That's in Iran despite years of sanction. Imagine a year from now or a year and a half from now, the capabilities they would have to inflict damage on us. It's an unacceptable risk, especially in the hands of a regime that's run by radical clerics. The Ayatollah was a radical cleric. That entire regime is led by radical clerics who don't make geopolitical decisions. They make decisions on the basis of theology, their view of theology, which is an apocalyptic one. That has to be taken very seriously as well.
AKA, they've been a thorn in our ass for decades now, right? And that's the thing. Trump has been saying this for decades. That clip that I played at the beginning of this video was Trump in the 80s talking about Iran and what we should have did back then. So, for people who think that Trump just came to this decision, all of a sudden, I don't think so, right? I think that Trump, especially his second term, he's kind of showing that he is that guy, right? And I mentioned this in my last video, one of my early videos today, when I was reacting to the view on this. I said, look, I think Trump really is.
For those who missed the beginning,
do, and you can create the right attitudes. The Iranian situation is a case in point. That they hold our hostages is just absolutely and totally ridiculous. That this country sits back and allows a country such as Iran to hold our hostages, to my way of thinking, is a horror. And I don't think they'd do it with other countries. I honestly don't think they'd do it with other countries.
Obviously, you're advocating that we should have gone in there with troops, etc., and brought our boys out.
I absolutely feel that, yes. I don't think there's any question, and there's no question in my mind. I think right now would be an oil-rich nation, and I believe that we should have done it, and I'm very disappointed that we didn't do it, and I don't think anybody would have held us in abeyance. I don't think anybody would have been angry with us, and we had every right to do it at the time. I think we've lost the opportunity.
That man Trump, bro, might just be the YT version of King Von, bro. I ain't never seen a president catch bodies the way that Trump gets to these bodies. Just about a month ago, this man went over to a whole nother country and stole a human being out of his own crib. How you steal a whole human? They said within 3 minutes, they had already captured. And then this weekend, the Iran person, he's
kind of held back by our system of checks and balances for good or for bad, right? I think some of it is bad. Some of it is good, too, in the sense that he's willing to take risks that if he was in his first term and he was trying to seek re-election, he wouldn't be willing to take, right? And you're seeing those risks be taken in this term because he's not running for re-election, right? So literally every decision that he's making is for the long term, right? It's a long-term decision. I don't believe that he makes this decision unless he truly feels like, hey, this is best for America long term, right? This is best for us to maintain global dominance, to deal with a threat, okay, who has repeatedly threatened us, said death to America for decades.
Not cool. How you doing, Caleb?
Our people hostage, has been responsible for our soldiers losing limbs, right? Who supplies our foreign enemies with drones in Russia, with oil when it comes to China, okay? Who sponsors terrorism globally. Hey, we don't have to deal with this anymore, right? Trump is saying we don't have to put up with this anymore. Let's just take them all out. Let's just take out everybody. And again, I think part of the reason why this decision was made is because he knows he's not running for re-election. He doesn't have to get reelected. That's what I think a lot of people are missing about Trump 2.0 and why he's making the decisions that he's making. That's why I really do believe that despite the, popularity or unpopularity of some of these decisions in the short term, I really do believe that in 20, 30 years, we're going to look back at President Trump and say, hey, this guy was one of the best long-term thinking presidents that we've ever had, right? Especially if he completes the trifecta. We already got Venezuela. If this operation in Iran is successful and then we get Cuba, yeah, without a doubt, President Trump is going to go down as probably one of the greatest presidents that we've ever had from a foreign policy perspective. It's not even going to be debatable. He will go on the Mount Rushmore of presidents when it comes to foreign policy. And I think he's made that clear since the day he got in office and started talking about Greenland, that he's thinking big, right? Bigger than past presidents in recent history when it comes to foreign policy, okay? So, hey, you could argue that America was at its greatest when we were the only global superpower, and it wasn't even questionable, right, in regards to our dominance across the globe. I think that President Trump is trying to return us back to that, right, where there is no question who the big dog is on planet Earth.
So that was the purpose for what this operation is all about. That's what it's focused on. As the president said earlier today, it is on or ahead of schedule. I will defer to the Department of War to discuss the progress being made at a tactical level, but it was the right decision and an important decision for the safety and security of the world.
Does Congress have to weigh in? And
What?
did you tell lawmakers that there was an
There absolutely was an imminent threat, and the imminent threat was that we knew that if Iran was attacked, and we believed they would be attacked, that they would immediately come after us. And we were not going to sit there and absorb a blow before we responded.
He said Joe Biden going down the worst president in history. Yes, he is.
If we waited for them to hit us first after they were attacked.
He was in the basement all the time.
Israel attacked them, they hit us first, and we waited for them to hit us. We would suffer more casualties and more deaths. We went proactively in a defensive way to prevent them from inflicting higher damage. Had we not done so, on Capitol Hill about how we knew that this was going to happen, and we didn't act preemptively to prevent more casualties and more loss of life. No, first of all, let me two things I would say. Number one is, no matter what, ultimately this operation needed to happen. That's the question of why now. But this operation needed to happen because Iran in about a year or a year and a half would cross the line of immunity, meaning they would have so many short-range missiles, so many drones, that no one could do anything about it because they could hold the whole world hostage. Look at the damage they're doing now. And this is a weakened Iran. Imagine a year from now. So that had to happen.
So I'm pausing here because there's so many people who are misinterpreting what Rubio just said.
Right. Go ahead and break it down, Greg.
Clip out everything that he actually said, right, out of context, and they only clip in what they want to hear, which is that, Rubio just admitted that we attacked Iran because of Israel. And that's not what he said, right?
It's not what he said.
What he said is that first
listen up.
We were going to do this anyways, right? He's saying that the reason why we did it now, right, at the moment, okay, not the reason why we attacked, but the reason why it was done now. And again, I think that people got to kind of take this with a grain of salt because he only can really say so much, being Secretary of State, in regards to how this actually went down. But what he was saying is that, well, we knew that Israel was going to attack Iran. Now, does that mean that we didn't give Israel the green light to attack Iran, or that Israel attacked Iran despite our objections? We don't know that, right? I highly doubt that Israel attacks Iran without us saying, hey, go ahead and attack them, right? Why do I say that? It's just basic logic and common sense. But when it comes to this specific topic, logic, common sense, rationality goes out the window very quickly, right? Because of conspiratorial thinking that, again, is not grounded in basic logic and reason, right? Like, for example, this attack is not an attack that happened out of nowhere. This is something they had been planning for months. Like what happened during the first attack, they had been planning that for months, okay? You don't just attack a country like Iran in the way that they did out of the blue, right? You don't just do that on the fly. That is something that has been planned for months. If Israel decides that, hey, we're going to attack without the United States giving them the green light, or against the will, explicitly against what the United States says that they
Good morning, subscribe. Good morning.
Of actually executing
Common Sense Channel.
The strategy and the attack, the way that you practiced it for months, that puts that at risk, right? Clearly, that is not in their best interest, okay? Because they're going to want the U.S. military
Thank you.
to be ready in a support role or whatever role the U.S. military is supposed to play in an attack like that, right? Just think about it. It's just common sense. Why would Israel attack Iran without us giving a green light, or without Trump saying, hell yeah, go ahead and do it? Why would they do that if that would mean that the U.S. military wouldn't be ready? That puts the whole operation at risk. And also on top of that, it ruins months of planning, right? They're not going to attack unless we say, hey, yeah, go ahead and attack, right? And you got to understand the politics behind this. Rubio is clearly saying this.
Thank you, guys. Thank you. Good morning. Let's grow. Let's have some fun.
He's doing that for political reasons. He's doing that for PR reasons. Well, see, you don't understand. We're going to be attacked because Israel was going to attack him first. Now, again, he didn't say whether or not we gave permission for Israel to attack him first, or whether or not Israel did it against our will, which I highly doubt they would do it without us saying, hey, go ahead and attack them.
They talking about death to America. That's not cool. I don't want nobody to die. No wars, none of that stuff. But they talking about having nuclear power and they want to talk about death to America. Really? So yeah, take that out. Take that government part out, not the people.
Because he's trying to frame it as a defensive operation rather than an offensive operation, in the sense that, well, if Israel attacks them first, then Iran's going to attack us because we're allies with Israel, so we had to attack too, right? Now, it's not the best way to frame this, right? I got to admit, But a lot of people are taking this completely out of context because they're cutting up the.
Thank you. Like the truth. That's all I'm trying to share.
Marco Rubio's full
I'm a Trump supporter. I'm not here to push nobody to be a Trump supporter or anything like that. I'm just showing certain things that I feel that, hey, why not? Bring it to the light. Let's chat about it in the chat. Go forward. I learned from you guys. You guys can learn from me. I'm not here to bash nobody or name call. Just here to have some fun and learn and share. That's all. Like and subscribe. Like and subscribe. Name is Deontay. I live in Rockford from Chicago. But here we are.
Explanation for why this operation happened, and they're purposely leaving out the part where Rubio says we were going to do it anyways. We were going to eventually attack Iran, right? And they're leaving that part out of it because it doesn't fit the narrative that they want to put out there, which is that, hey, well,
thank you.
By Israel, right? That Trump is just doing whatever Netanyahu says, and I just really do not believe that Trump is that type of guy. I really don't. I think that a lot of people just have a hard time grasping the concept that the United States and Israel have mutual goals, right?
Thank you.
That they have mutual interests when it comes to Iran. A lot of people just cannot grasp that concept that maybe, just maybe, the United States and Israel, and also the Arab states as well, to our Arab allies, right? And the Europeans, right? They all want regime change in Iran. And it's not hard to understand why the United States would want regime change in Iran outside of Israel, outside of the whole, Iran sponsors terrorism stuff. When you look at the geopolitical chessboard, the role that Iran plays, as an ally to Russia and China, everything in this Trump administration has been about China, right? The tariffs are about China. Everything we're doing really is about China, okay? To be honest with you. And
also still come from the Timu.
That Iran is weak. Hey, Rubio is laying out the case that they were building up their missile systems in order to be able to develop nukes without interference, right? With a protective shield. And considering the fact that we bombed their nuclear facilities just a year ago, honestly, I think that kind of gave them more incentive, right? More incentive to say, hey, if we could get like North Korea, right? We can get some of them nukes. That makes us United States and Israel invasion proof, right? They're not going to be attacking us. So Iran at this point was very weak, right? They've always been weak, right? But they're really weak now. And it's like, all right, well, maybe it's a good time to go ahead and take them out, right? While they're at their weakest, okay? When you understand that, when you understand the geopolitical chess game here, it's not hard to say, okay, well, this is why we're doing this, right? That doesn't involve Netanyahu making Trump do it, which is the common explanation on X right now.
Obviously, we were aware of Israeli intentions and understood what that would mean for us, and we had to be prepared to act as a result of it. But this had to happen no matter what.
President Trump said overnight that his top choices to now run Iran were killed in the strikes. So the United States have a firm plan for how they intend to handle this power vacuum in Iran to ensure that Iran does not take
power. So two things can be true. Number one is our mission and our focus is the destruction of their ballistic missile capabilities and their ability to manufacture them, as well as the threat posed by their Navy to global shipping. That's their objective.
Tech support, good morning.
We would not mind, we would not be heartbroken, and we hope that the Iranian people can overthrow this government and establish a new future for that country. We would love for that to be possible. But the objective of this
mission, you missed that part, Tech. I can rewind it back.
And of their naval
Good morning. Good morning.
Responsibility of plan for the U.S. will always play a role in whatever government comes.
We'll see how circumstances play out, but I'm telling you what the objectives of this operation are. The objectives of this operation are to destroy their ballistic missile capability and make sure they can't rebuild it. And AKA, we're going to take out that.
Oh, you saw it already? Okay, cool.
Right? We're going to castrate them.
Good morning, Kathy.
And then we're going to proceed to the next phase, right? And I want people to understand there is no right answer to the question of, is the U.S. going to be involved in picking Iran's leadership, right? When this is all kind of said and done. Because if Marco Rubio says no, then, they're going to say, oh, if we're not involved in picking the next leadership, then that creates a power vacuum. I actually heard Anna Kasparian make that argument on Piers Morgan. And I'm thinking, I'm like, well, if he would have said yes, then you would have said, see, the United States is putting up another puppet government, right? So it's really damn if you do, damn if you don't at this point when it comes to that question of whether or not we're going to be involved in the leadership, right? Whoever is, propped up to be the next leader. But the answer to that question really is, of course, right? Of course, we wouldn't be doing this if we didn't have a say or we didn't want to have a say in who's going to be leading the country next. Just like in Venezuela, of course we have a say, right? Of course we're going to be involved and make sure that our guy wins the next election, right? Of course. Otherwise, it's like, well, why do you do this if we're not going to, play a role in who's going to be leading the country next? We don't want to do this just to have another religious zealot lead Iran that's going to, be a pain in our side. That kind of defeats the purpose. So the answer to that question is yes, of course.
So that they can't hide behind that to have a nuclear program. That's the objective of the mission. That said, abundantly clear, we would love for there to be an Iran that's not governed by radical Shia clerics. As I've said myself repeatedly for years, the leadership of that country does not reflect the people of Iran, and I think that's been pretty apparent in the protests that you've seen. If there's something we can do to help them down the road, we'd obviously be open to it, but that's not the objective. The objective of this mission is the destruction of their ballistic missile capability.
Has not gone well for the United States.
For what now?
Regime change has not gone well for the United States for many, many decades. How do you assure the American public that things will not get worse for the next regime that comes in that replaces the
Well, we would love to see this regime be replaced. And ultimately, as the president has said, but let me finish my answer. As the president has said, he would love for the people of Iran to use this as an opportunity to rise up and remove these leaders. They've been wanting to remove them from a long time. We've seen successive waves of protests, and we've seen them slaughter people. Okay? But the objective of this mission is to make sure they don't have these weapons that can threaten us and our allies in the region. That's why we're doing what we're doing now. And while we would love to see a new regime, the bottom line is no matter who governs that country a year from now, they're not going to have these ballistic missiles and they're not going to have these drones to threaten us. That's the objective of this mission, is to deny them the ability to use ballistic missiles to threaten their neighbors, to threaten our bases, to threaten our presence in the region, and ultimately as a shield behind which they can do whatever they want with their nuclear weapons ambition. We were not going to let them hide behind that, and that's why this was such a critical mission to undertake now while they were at their weakest point, and not a year from now where they could inflict even more damage and perhaps already be behind that point of immunity.
Yeah, celebrating. That's what's up. Hey, celebrate. That's what's up.
You and then you. Yes.
Your critics in Congress have said that they should have a role, they should be able to weigh in.
Good morning, Jesse.
There are going to be more powers resolutions votes in Congress later this week. Why not notify Congress ahead of this? And does Congress?
Well, we did. We notified Congress. I mean, we notified the Gang of Eight. We notified congressional leadership. There's no law that requires us to do that. The law says we have to notify them 48 hours after beginning hostilities. We've done that. I think the notification went today, but we did notify members of Congress in advance. But we can't notify 535 members of Congress. The Congress can vote on whatever they want, but there's no law that requires us to do that. And I want to say something because I see people on TV. Look, that's fine. If they want to take a war powers vote, they can do that. They've done that. They've done that a bunch of times. But people keep saying that there's no law that requires the president to have done anything with regards to this. To begin with, no presidential administration has ever accepted the War Powers Act as constitutional. Not Republican presidents, not Democratic presidents. That said, we have followed the notification at 48 hours, and we're here today. I've done more Gang of Eight briefings than I got in the 4 years that Biden was president and I was a member of the Gang of Eight.
You tell him, Mark. You tell him.
Comply with the law 100%. And we're going to continue to comply with it. We've done the notification, and we officially to Congress, but we did notify members of Congress. We just can't notify 535 people. That's not possible, but we did the Gang.
There you go right there. You can't notify all those people. 500 people?
Of Eight, twice. I briefed them last week, and then I called them the night before the operation.
I mean, to be honest, it's a national security risk to notify Democrats anything at this point because they're a treasonous party at this point. Let's be honest. I wouldn't tell the Democrats.
Right, you tell Ilhan Omar. Right, he got a point. If you tell Ilhan Omar, she gonna go straight against you can't tell Ilhan. Was it Marjorie Taylor Greene? Nah, keep that. Nah, they did the right thing. This is what I voted for.
Fetterman is the only Democrat I would consider telling anything about what we're gonna do.
MAGA.
Something like this. But all the other
don't tell them nothing.
Hakeem Jeffries, Schumer, we're not telling them anything. We ain't telling them nothing. Fetterman is the only guy I would consider telling. He's the only person.
Right, you gonna tell Al Green?
Nobody else is gonna know on the Democrat side of the aisle.
Him and his cane? Nah.
What you know, Mr. Secretary of the Administration knows about striking a building in southern Iran.
I did not vote for no war.
Yeah, I've seen those reports. I don't have. I would refer you, not because I'm not trying to answer your question.
They
But I
vote for
don't
no
want
war,
to get it wrong.
Tech.
The Department of War would be investigating that if that was our strike, and I would refer your question to them. And I'll make sure they're aware that you.
But this been brewing for years.
We'd like to know.
This been going on before Trump.
Well, clearly, the United States would not deliberately target a school. Our objectives are missiles, both with the ability to manufacture them and the ability to launch them, and the one-way track drones. That would be our focus, and that's what we would be focused on. We would have no interest and, frankly, no incentive to target civilian infrastructure. The Iranians are, on the other hand, targeting civilian infrastructure. You guys have seen it. I'm sure you've seen it. They're hitting hotels. They're hitting embassies. They're hitting airports. They're hitting oil infrastructure. Well, it'd be very tragic, but I can't speak to the details behind it because I just don't have it. It would be a tragic outcome if it's happened. I don't.
Just hold on, Tech. I'm gonna show you.
But what is clear that the United States would not deliberately target a school. They are, on the other hand, deliberately targeting civilians, as you've seen, because you know why? They are a terroristic regime. They sponsor terrorism and they participate in terrorism.
Hey, man, I'm telling you, Rubio might be that guy in 2028. I'm just saying, Rubio might be that guy. I like JD, but Rubio's the man. I'm not going to lie to you. Big Marco has grown up. He is not little anymore. He's not little anymore.
No, he's not.
The only thing about Rubio, the one thing I am.
Who lost 3,000 lives
and now you're being
at World Trade Center.
I mean, it's the slamming of the hands on the desk for me. This woman is crazy. She is a shouting, screaming banshee. And over 4 hours, she was questioned about hubby Bill in the hot tub, hubby Bill with unknown women receiving massages even, and with a pedophile Epstein himself. So please, watch and enjoy her just sitting there while her deadbeat husband's misdemeanors are laid out right in front of her.
Clinton was impeached on charges of perjury and obstruction of justice, which directly related to his extramarital affair with Monica Lewinsky. Is that correct?
Yes.
And your husband was impeached for perjury related to sexual behavior, correct?
I didn't understand what you said.
Your husband was impeached for perjury related to sexual behavior, his sexual behavior.
He was impeached for several reasons, and then was acquitted in the Senate.
Oh, that stiff upper lip. Please, keep going.
Your husband appears in photos in swimming pools, hot tubs, aboard Jeffrey Epstein's private plane with unidentified young women. We came here today and you told this committee that a pattern of behavior demands accountability, correct?
I said that I believe
Just hold on. It's going to come up.
Anyone who had a substantial pattern and practice of contact with Jeffrey Epstein and his crimes before they came to light.
And does that include your husband?
And after they came to light. You're going to have a chance to question him tomorrow.
Isn't it just delicious? I mean, it must be absolutely exhausting for Hillary. Has to keep making excuses for her husband, Clinton. And as she was giving evidence, a photo from inside was leaked of her. And that is when the raging beast was unleashed and she morphed into a complete lunatic and went into derangement mode.
I'm done with this. If you guys are
She got a blue pantsuit on, and Bill Clinton had a blue dress on in that picture. And it's funny, she wearing a blue suit, and Bill Clinton had a blue dress on. Amazing.
It doesn't matter. We all are abiding by the same rules.
I will take that down.
Yeah, well,
I would like to take a break at this moment.
yeah,
I'd like to have
I'm done for now.
I mean, she's truly horrifying, like a wild cave woman who hasn't seen daylight before. And then there was Bill.
witnesses who testified, and Epstein.
How you doing, Will?
That Epstein said, you quote, like them young. Why would Epstein say that about you?
First of all, that's not true.
Is an intern young?
Yes.
Did you ever think of that when you engaged in an affair with Monica Lewinsky, Bill? Oh, and it got worse.
Do you think a young girl massaging a president is unusual?
I have no idea if it's unusual.
Objection, quote.
He doesn't know. He's got no idea, apparently. Is that what you meant when Monica Lewinsky was giving you massages, Bill, but elsewhere?
Damn.
And let's not forget, Jeffrey Epstein visited the...
I tell you one thing, y'all. Hillary Clinton stand by her man. She love him, don't love him. She stand by her man all day long. When it came to Trump inauguration, she was there. Wells and Michelle. Michelle didn't even show up. All about her feelings. Bill Clinton corrupt, cheated on Hillary many a times, and she still got his back. That's wow. Something else.
The White House 17 times while he was president, and Clinton flew on the Lolita Express, that's Epstein's plane, 27 times. And now to the left's hissy fits over the US-Israel strikes on Iran, starting with the bitter banshees over at The View, specifically sad old Sonny Hostin.
This is an illegal war. This is an unconstitutional war. Only Congress can wage war and declare war. And so that's the first thing. I think we have to call a thing a thing. So this is an illegal war. This is a presidential war. I thought this was going to be the president of peace. I thought this president wanted to win a Nobel Peace Prize for peace. That is not what I'm seeing. He didn't go to Congress. He didn't go to the UN. He didn't go before the American people.
Honestly, why is this woman always so hysterical? Get some help. Get some help for this chronic and acute case of TDS. It's not normal. About as abnormal as sacked CNN host Don Lemon.
You want to know how Donald Trump's lying? His lips are moving. He is so full of I'm the president of peace. I'm going to stop all these wars. I'm going to get us out of the endless wars. He always says that about other people, about himself.
Look, Trump lives in this guy's head rent-free. I mean, these unhinged shrills don't actually realise that Iran wanted this. And then there's the Ken doll of California, Gavin Newsom, who's taken a break from the palatial mansion to give this PSA on the Middle East.
Donald Trump spent more time talking about his ballroom than he did about the loss of those lives. Review the tape. Spend more time talking about the curtains and his ballroom than he did the 4 service members that died because of his operation and his declaration of war without congressional consent. He still has not articulated their vision.
Crazy.
The end game is, period.
Good morning, good morning. Thank you.
Period, full stop. Why don't you get back to your miracle hair growth cream application? And what is it with the Democrats' obsession with lying?
Their argument that there was an imminent threat of nuclear attack on the American people is bogus on its face. We know the Iranians don't have that capacity.
No, never mind. Iran was building up its nuclear arsenal and persisting with its ballistic missile program, threatening the West on the daily. But no. Bogus. And then there's Representative Hakeem Jeffries.
There's nowhere in the United States Constitution where it says that we are to be the policemen and women of the world. I mean, that's the reality. Yes, we are the leaders of the free world at this particular point in time, but there's a role for the United States to play in terms of diplomacy, building coalitions.
Well, let me expose the hypocrisy. I present Democrat vision of years gone by that's come back to haunt them.
I want the Iranians to know that if I'm the president, we will attack Iran. Whatever stage of development they might
Tech support. Did you see this part?
Weapons program,
Check this part out. Listen to this one.
during which they might foolishly consider launching an attack on Israel, we would be able to totally obliterate them.
Obliterate.
The president did not need authorization initially and still does not need any authorization from Congress on Libya.
Yes.
I wish that was played to Nancy right now. And now to some serious Trump derangement syndrome. A couple has been refused service at Smoothie King because the guy was wearing a Trump sweater.
We were just wanting a smoothie, and you literally looked at us, and I asked you if everything was okay. You said we don't feel comfortable serving.
Yes, you mentioned that. There you go.
That is discrimination. That is
There's a lot of hypocrisy going on around
I
here.
mean, can you believe it? A sweater has sent the lefties. And this is the delightful creature behind it.
Literally the day right after Black History Month. And that's when Torta asked us if there was an issue, and that's when my coworker said, like, yeah, we're uncomfortable because of your sweater, of your husband's sweater, and she was taking an order on the headset for the drive-thru, and then so that's why I was doing most of the talking because she was the customer. So like, yeah, like we are uncomfortable, and then that's when he immediately gets loud. As you can see, guys, in my video, we're just saying like, yeah, like we're uncomfortable, blah 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 blah, and then he immediately gets out like discrimination. You're discriminating against us.
Why do they all look and sound the same? Very strange. Well, Hollywood's back at it again, by the way. Here's actress Sophia Bush trying to separate people by the colour of their skin.
As the white friend at this event, I'm going to go ahead and say to the women who look like me, to the men who look like me, it's incredibly important to remember that so much of what we love in America comes from Black culture, and white people need to show up for Black people the way they show up to be entertained by Black culture. So given who's in office and given what we're seeing happening to Black and brown communities in our country, we better get our together.
I'm good.
And one last thing. Remember how everything was going to be free in New York under Zoran Mamdani? Newsflash, it's not.
What he promised was a free bus for everybody, grocery stores run by the government for, poor people to get food, which is a good thing, I think. And that rent was going to go down. Those are like the big three things he promised everybody. So today he's got his first meeting with the city about the budget. And what he says is, I'm raising property taxes on everybody by 10%, okay? Rent's not going to go down, actually. He's draining $1 billion from the rainy day fund, which I don't even know what that is, but this sounds good. And none of the free stuff that he promised is actually happening.
Joining me now is writer and comedian Michael Loftus. Michael, good to see you. Thank you very much for joining me. Let's start with this. I think this is so bizarre. So Jim Carrey has addressed online speculation that this wasn't really him on the red carpet in France last week, with many pointing out how different he seemed to look. Carrey emphatically confirmed to the Daily Mail, though, that he definitely was indeed at the awards ceremony. I don't know, this story's bizarre, Michael. He looked different. What do you think?
Hopefully he's doing some kind of research for a sequel to The Mask, because that's what that looked like. That looked like The Mask, like The Next Generation or something. And if it was Jim Carrey, thoughts and prayers going out to his plastic surgeon, because that guy's going to get sued. There's so many fillers and Botox and things pulled back, and just when you get work like this, you talk to your plastic surgeon, you're like, is anyone going to know? I don't want people to know. Please. They'll never guess. And now it's on the front page of every paper.
Yeah, the plastic surgeon's going out of business. He'll never get another job again. But you're right. They had all these lines in his face. He just looked so wrong. Like there was something wrong with him. It was all very strange. Look,
you say that's what he said. What did he say, Ted? What did he say?
This was a little ploy. Now, speaking of thoughts and prayers, former Vogue editor and Mamdani's stylist that tells you everything you need to know. This is Gabriella Carifa Johnson. She's revealed that she downgraded herself from first class to business class. Why? Because everyone else in first class was white, Michael. Because they were white. Thoughts and prayers.
Yeah, thoughts and prayers. And a big shout out to everybody that was up in first class.
Average Construction, good morning. Thanks for being in the chat. Good morning.
Woo! I thought that flight was going to be rough. But she's back in business class. She was complaining. She said that there was substandard service.
Subscribe. Good morning. Good morning.
That's all the bells and whistles are going off right now. This is someone who doesn't fly because there is no more service on airplanes. So I need to tell it that's just how it is now. They don't care about you.
No, literally, they couldn't care less where you sit. Just sit down and shut up, really. I mean, that is the aim. But yeah, the victimhood mentality never ceases to amaze me, seriously. They think that everyone really cares so much about them. Let's talk about everyone's favourite non-royal, the Duchess of Privacy, Meghan Markle. Now, we're hearing reports that she could be gearing up for a carefully orchestrated return to the UK. But how's this? There's also speculation that maybe the King may offer the Sussexes Andrew's old abode, the Royal Lodge. Gee, I reckon that lodge is tainted now with all of Andrew's misdemeanors. What do you reckon, Michael? But surely not.
Yeah. Hopefully this trip of hers is sponsored by some cleaning product. But she's going to have to wipe down the whole place, search it for hidden cameras. I don't know, maybe she and Andrew used to be a thing. You hear these rumors. But boy, she is the queen of tacky. Can't she just come over for a family visit, have a picnic, do a barbecue? No, she's got to slide into town and try to get a free place to stay. She is the queen of tacky and awkward.
Yeah, she loves a freebie. I mean, I just cannot imagine the king ever offering those to upper residents. But it would be a downgrade if they ended up in the ex-residence of the man formerly known as Prince. So we'll see what happens. Now, actor Shia LaBeouf, he is blaming, quote, small man complex. I don't know if that's a thing. For a Mardi Gras brawl where he's accused of using homophobic slurs while hitting multiple people. Saying, though, that he's not into therapy. So small man complex, is it a thing, Michael? I don't know.
I think small man complex might be a distant cousin to I have a problem with booze.
Yes.
I think if your small man complex only shows up when you've been drinking, you might have a problem with the booze. And for Shia, I wish him nothing but the best, but he's got these demons that he's wrestled with before. I don't know if Mardi Gras is the place for him. If you've had issues with alcohol, you might not want to go to the ground zero of being hammered 24/7. So, small man, big glass complex.
Yeah, I think you're right. It's a great excuse when you say I've got small man complex. But it's actually quite, it's cowardly. It's a shocker. Yeah, I think maybe he may need.
So are Americans going to support another military operation in the Middle East right now? I mean, we've had kind of a checkered past in going into the Middle East and not taking care of business. So I open it up. What do you think?
I don't think they're going to support it if the President of the United States does not make a case and clearly explain why we went in there and what the end game is. And look, I'm not an Iran expert, and I'm not going to pretend that because I spent 2 days watching former generals on CNN explaining this, I understand the Middle East. But I am a regular American, and I can tell you my reaction, and it was a mixed feelings, because when I heard that the Ayatollah was dead, I shared in the celebration of so many Iranians around the world and including in the United States. I thought of Mahsa Amini, the journalist who was stopped by the morality police and cruelly, brutally killed. I thought of Vida Rabbani. I thought of my friend Tamal Ganyan, whose uncle was executed by the Ayatollah in 79. And that is one part. But I also have such anxiety. I am furious that we are going into war yet again without congressional approval. I am furious that the American people have not been brought into this. I am furious that we are doing this alone. Yes, Israel is part of it. But I look at Donald Trump and I look at Netanyahu and I see two leaders who I think politically they benefit from war. Netanyahu is facing criminal charges for corruption back home. Donald Trump is facing very low numbers and Epstein files that are not, and we will not let go away. And so, I think that's where a lot of Americans are. We're happy that the Ayatollah is dead. He's brutal regime. And let me just say one more thing.
So she gonna sit here and name all the reasons why they should go in and get this guy up out of there.
Yeah, I mean, they didn't say, I'm brutal, I'm upset, though. Shut your ass up.
Because Congress didn't approve this. Don't we have people on Congress that are other nations, are from other nations and put other nations before they put America?
Why did we give a shit about them not notifying Congress? They should use my language, but there was never this energy when Obama didn't use congressional approval to go kill Osama bin Laden. But we did strikes on Yemen and Syria and Lebanon and Somalia. No congressional approval for those, but now it's a problem that we just took out another leader, another dictator. These are the no dictator, no kings people. They don't believe nothing they say, bro. They just want to be anti-Trump and have something to hoot and holler and whine about.
But somebody
Goodness
coming up
gracious.
is going to absolutely cook them and put them in their place.
Goodness gracious.
I think that's where a lot of Americans
Subscribe.
we're happy that the Ayatollah is dead. He's brutal.
She is not a Republican.
And let me just say one more thing. Trump has, I think, changed since Venezuela. I think he thought Venezuela was incredibly successful, and he's been making comparisons with what happened in Venezuela with what's happening in Iran. I don't know Iran. I know Venezuela. Maduro was a piddly little third world dictator. Venezuela is not Iran. Iran has terrorist cells all over the world that they can activate. Venezuela was one and done. They went in there, they extricated Maduro, and that was the end of that. This certainly is not that. He's already told us it could be 4 or 5 more weeks of strikes. We are seeing retaliation by the Iranians that the Venezuelans didn't have the ability to do. So I think that he's in love with his idea of being the conqueror and the emperor after Venezuela. He's got this Napoleonic complex. He thinks he's Alexander the Great.
Right.
But Venezuela is not Iran.
I mean, I respect.
She's about to cook them. I don't really have a way to justify that at all. So I definitely don't condone that. But
it happens. It
does happen in war. It's very sad. I think that the regime were killing. So like, if you care about humans, just take the country and all these things out of it. Humans were dying at a mass rate in a short amount of time in this place, and trying to stop that. So I just if you look at it like that, it kind of takes all the
that's all that needs to be said.
Opinions out of it.
But she's finna say it. She's finna tell them. She's about to own them to their face.
I so respect where you come from, Anna, on this and your ability to broadly think about it and have heart in it. I also think it's very easy to have political concussion at this point.
Subscribe, everybody. Good morning.
Depth perception, where you can't see the depth of what is going on because you're just being constantly barraged by information or political opinion and now war. Understandably, the Americans are fatigued with the idea of war. We get that, right? We sit here and we know the repercussions of death. And I do want to say our hearts are with the families of those fallen soldiers. Your sacrifice will not be squandered. This war will be won. I do think it's threefold. One, we have 47 million Iranian women who now have a hope of freedom. That's a good thing. Okay, we have a disgusting terrorist regime ended, and the people finally have hope to create their own nation again. Okay, so that's the hope. When we zoom out in geopolitical realm, okay, which is not my specialty either, but I have a ton of friends in the military who specialize in this. We see that this is actually avoiding a boots on the ground war with China when we are able to choke their oil supply, and the president and our military are exemplary in doing so right now. They've cut the oil supply from Venezuela, and they've now reduced it and choked the oil supply to China in Iran. And now what that does is presumably prevent China from having an absolute stronghold on the globe. So this is a strategic move geopolitically that we may not fully understand, but I absolutely trust that this is best for our nation, and we should be America first.
What makes you think that the regime has
dropped that dime? Can we?
Well, that was the
we may not fully understand, but I absolutely trust that this is best for our nation, and we should be America first.
What makes you think that the regime has ended?
Let Senate do
well, that was
the leader. The absolute Ayatollah is dead.
Well, but I
the people. Well, look at ND. I get it.
I have to remember. Let's not do this crosstalk thing.
Yeah.
Right. Finish your sentence.
I was just going to say, the bottom line is that this is an illegal war. This is an unconstitutional war. Only Congress can wage war.
Clapping. Look at them clapping. There they go.
So this is an illegal war.
She said no wrong. They're gonna clap. They're gonna clap. Period. She says nothing wrong.
I think what Anna was about to say. Did the regime really change? No. At this point, Donald Trump has come out and said, "I had some choices for who would lead, but they are dead now too." And so now you have people that are in Iran picking their own people. So you don't have a regime change, just like you don't have a regime change in Venezuela. Also, what I'll say is it's very, very easy to start a war, right? Without a plan. It's very difficult to end a war. We've seen in Russia.
That's what we do.
Oh, he definitely going to jail. Yeah, clapping seals. Seals clapping.
Who's going to conduct it? That is a good point.
They show the sign and they clap.
Yeah, so we created a government right now.
We didn't do it.
So who's going to do that?
The man that created white supremacy. The white supremacists created this beautiful system.
I think America needs to go over there and give them democracy.
No, see, because if we do that, then we'll be.
I don't care about what they say, bro. No. We're not gonna put America.
We'll be occupied. It'll be an American occupation.
That's true.
We'll be sitting in the Middle East again.
But that is a fair point.
It's literally the same shit we did in Iraq and Afghanistan. We destabilized them by getting rid of their leadership, and we tried to occupy them, and we sat out there for 20 fucking years, and now their countries is shit.
Hold on, but then how do we make sure that a bad regime doesn't come again.
We tell them if y'all do this shit again, we'll nuke the fuck out of you.
That doesn't make sense. That's not an actual viable option. It's not a viable
it's
option.
pretty viable option.
That wasn't an answer.
How is that not a viable option?
You cannot nuke a country.
Yeah,
yes, you can.
You see, you're not giving about this. Is not a real answer.
How is that not a real answer? We should go occupy and sit in the Middle East.
No, are they gonna do that? You know why? That's why niggas not in power, bro.
I don't understand what the problem is. How is that not a real problem?
Not a real answer.
Trump said, if y'all kill me, I'm going to turn your country to ash. That is the threat of a nuke.
I mean,
that's gonna start a world war.
But
we're not gonna nuke
so you want a nuclear war?
I said, we talking about, hey, if we mess up, we're going to nuke them. All these other countries already say, hey, we're in favor of the strikes already.
Yeah, but that's different than nuking the entire country.
Happy Mark, good morning. Right.
That doesn't make sense. No, I think that we do have to have some type of plan, though.
People died when the bombs dropped.
We're gonna have some type of plan for what they're gonna do with the Iran government.
Okay,
so if you let them just
Yeah, he just said just nuke them. Like, damn, no, you can't do that, man. It's innocent people.
Vacuum where another person tries to claim the power. It happened in Libya when Gaddafi died. It happened in Iran. It happened in Iraq. It's gonna happen. It's going to happen.
But you know what?
Yeah, it happened all in the Bible.
Don't have it's nukes. That's what the main thing was for me.
So
it's about the nukes. So forget the power.
It's going to be a power vacuum of another person who tries to come into power.
Then we're gonna do the same.
So you agree? So Sonny is right then.
Oh yeah, that's a valid point. It's going to be a power vacuum.
Hey,
it happens every single time.
They don't have nukes now.
Okay, but
the whole point.
Okay, so then what's the problem? So them
having nukes.
Do you think we should have an American occupation of Iran?
I don't know. Maybe
I don't know.
No.
We're in Dubai. I think we should put them
Subscribe.
If y'all act because Dubai don't have an army.
I mean,
they're simple.
Dubai doesn't have an army. What the hell are they going to do?
I don't know. I mean,
I think
we're not. It's a fair point. It is a fair point.
Look,
I don't know what to do.
We should just start executing all the people they put in power that tweet.
That's what we doing.
That's what I'm saying. Y'all say, hey, y'all tweet out, we'll just nuke you.
We did.
Everybody got to go.
So we did good. Well, no, I'm not. No.
Anyways. Why y'all don't like nukes, bro?
Yeah, okay, brother.
That's
that Black American privilege shit.
Serious
That's that privilege shit, bro.
No, we can't do that.
That's that privilege shit,
because you gonna start a nuclear war and you gonna end the world.
Who gonna come to war at the defense of Iran?
China.
I'm a nuke.
This is a Call of Duty. That is the one country we don't want to do that.
These are real lives at stake. Real lives at stake.
We can not. We nuke
that's
first.
It's gonna be nuclear war. That's bad.
Look, bro, come on. It's lives at stake here, man. We talking about real shit.
Okay.
Who
you want to go to bed in the night? You or some random Chinese person?
Okay.
I'm nuking the shit out of them. I'm just keeping it 100.
Right?
Damn.
Plan. It's very difficult to end a war. We've seen in Russia invading Ukraine, thinking that it was going to be over. It's 5 years later. 610,000 Russians are either maimed or killed. 1.2 million Russians maimed or killed. We've got 600,000 Ukrainians maimed or killed. That war is not over. I thought this was going to be the president of peace. I thought this president wanted to win a Nobel Peace Prize for peace. That is not what I'm seeing. I am not seeing America first. I think people that voted for Trump, I was not one of them. I think you were.
Obviously, you wasn't. We know that.
Wanted America
I proudly
first.
voted for Trump because the alternative was not great, and we would absolutely be under the wrong power if the alternative.
Actually, I'm going to stop everybody.
Never surrender.
And come back, and we can continue the conversation.
Did they stop her?
Yeah.
On the commercial, bro.
Key here is we don't know, because it would be great if it happened and it happened the way we wanted to happen, and people found that freedom. But I'm not optimistic, because when you throw in religion and you throw in male dominance, and sometimes when all kinds of stuff, you have to surf a lot of this, and if you don't know what's going on, all we can do is talk.
They're so dumb that they're literally proving the point. They said religion. So the man that literally just shot 17 people, where was that, in Austin? That's how extreme these people are. So let's let the extremists have nukes.
I just think. I just think like Trump said, peace through strength.
Hey,
but I don't support a military occupation in the Middle East.
Well, nuking them isn't an option.
I'm just saying. Nuking is not an option. Okay. You're right. So
we can they have that option. They're gonna figure it out. You think they just went in head first? Either way, it's like, hey, we're gonna figure it out later. Trump was like, hey, man, I did have a couple people in mind, but
I would love to know what is the plan though to establish.
But they couldn't have these nukes.
I don't really care if they have a democracy.
I don't care if they have a plan. They shouldn't have the nukes. Terrorist nukes.
No, that's fair.
That's what it is.
Get rid of
got the plan later.
That's very valid.
I don't think we should give them democracy. I don't think installing democracy in poop hole countries is valuable to the American people.
And I agree with that.
That's my honest statement. Obviously, I was saying,
but that's
nuke 'em, but that's just me thinking peace through strength. Hey, y'all act up. Guess what? It's over with.
Damn.
That's just what I think. That's what I think. Trump already said that. He said.
So we go in.
Trump said
and kill the leader, not nuke.
Trump said out his own mouth, if y'all do something to me, I will turn your country to ash. It will be no more.
He's not wrong for that.
Yeah, but he
that is exactly what he said. So I'm following off his lead. Peace through strength. If y'all act up, it's over.
So you would kill all the men, women, and children.
Yes.
Murder the whole country.
Yes.
Every single
That's
person.
why emotional black dreadhead nigga like you will never be empowered.
But it's the spider heads, bro. You see how these spider heads is? You see how these spider heads is, y'all?
I'm gonna act like I'm tweaking when Trump said that himself, and I'm just.
But look what he actually
He's
did.
the president.
No, he said that after the fact.
But they've been tweaking.
He
Did
said,
he nuke 'em?
if y'all
They've been
know,
tweaking.
he said that after the strikes.
Okay.
He said, if y'all do something to me,
He's not wrong for that.
will
He's
be
not wrong
no
for that.
more.
He's not wrong for that. If they kill the
So
president
when
of the
I
United
say
States,
I'm wrong,
so we should nuke them. If anybody kills the president of the United States, they should get killed.
Trump was saying if they attack America, you were just saying,
oh, if they messing with the people in Iran, you said they tweak. And tweak what way? You didn't say if they kill the president.
I'm talking about a threat to us. They already was tweaking over there. I'm not saying nuke them if they start tearing up their people. We're just gonna do some strikes again. You said if
So they blow up a U.S. boat.
Come on.
Okay, I know, but if they blow up a U.S. boat, nuke them.
No.
I mean, what you saying then?
No, I'm talking about. Y'all said if they tweak.
well,
like
if they blow up the U.S. boat,
if
that's
they
a
do
threat.
a threat to the U.S., they already blew up U.S. boats.
I know. I'm just saying. So then, what you saying?
I'm
What's
talking
another
to
threat?
the U.S. country itself.
Okay, you're not wrong then. I mean,
That's
maybe
what
you're
I
not
was
wrong.
talking
Okay,
about.
maybe you're
I'm not
not
just
wrong.
saying nuke. You can't just nuke them if they get out of line. That's ridiculous.
Okay.
it sounded like
Hey,
that's what you
she's
said.
finna cook them though.
All you can do is talk. All we can do is talk about what we see. But I am cautiously watching to see who is going to end up becoming the leader. And it is not somebody I think we need to appoint. This is up to the Iranian people to make that decision. We can't just drop somebody in.
And they go clapping.
Without a doubt, and I think we'll be
That's what we
emphasize the
did.
point that even the
different,
president
though.
himself has said, and
We're civilized.
Secretary of War Pete Hegseth has said that this is now the time for the Iranian people to stand and do what they need to do. And when when you look at what women looked like and were treated like, we have a before and after.
That's facts.
Before this regime and after.
Wow.
This is before, and here's after. And right now,
Sharia
these
law.
women have hope. 47 million women have hope. Women, people who are gay are not being thrown off buildings. Women will not be mutilated and murdered. And I think there's
Sharia
such
law.
hope, and it takes strength to find peace. And America should be first at that always.
I like that.
Here's the
Strength.
thing, though. I remember,
Peace through strength.
and I hope you're right. I hope for the sake of the Iranian people and for the sake of the world, for America's sake, I hope you're right. But I
She's from
remember
Nicaragua.
1989 when the Ayatollah Khomeini died, and we thought this is over and this is going to be great, and a worse guy came up. I remember seeing
It is.
George W. Bush on a U.S. aircraft carrier with a big banner behind him that said "Mission accomplished," and the mission had not been accomplished. I remember going into war with information that wasn't true, and so there's a lot that Donald Trump has to say and do, and I think it starts with Congress. I just think that they are our elected representatives.
No, not with them people.
Not Jasmine Crockett. The information and making them part of the decision. At this point, this is an unconstitutional war.
Hey, she cooked them bad.
She did.
It's a lot of reasons why they have to go over there,
But
that we don't know.
let's give some props to the View for bringing in a conservative on.
Oh
Yeah, they usually do that here and there. This one time,
But not
they
when they
let her
stand on
talk.
business.
you want to know something? You want to know something? They let her talk, and when she was cooking them, they didn't cry. They said, "I hope you're right. I hope." Because she's so right. You can't argue.
You can't.
And then this is an all-women panel. And she said, "Well, we know the before and after what women's lives was like. We know what they do to women. We know what they do to gay people. We know what they do to
you care about those things?
Y'all the LGBT pro-women panel.
Yeah.
What do you think about
You
that?
can't be pro LGBTQ and pro Sharia law.
You can't.
Those don't go together at all.
And they were actually R-wording the women over there. They were doing that.
Bro,
Yes,
they were.
it was
Remember when we read in the
pretty
last video what they were doing?
I mean, but y'all so for abortion.
And we know that's a whole nother can of worms.
But that's, I mean, it kind of goes. I mean, these women are having probably these babies.
deploying Iranian-inspired kamikaze drones for the first time in combat. It was all part of rare daytime strikes taking down senior leaders in Tehran, including its supreme leader.
Over 2,000 airstrikes were conducted in the last 24 hours. That's really quite remarkable. This combination of the IDF and Central Command's capabilities. And certainly we've seen some of the effects of that. A lot, obviously, we can't see, but the leadership targets themselves have been nothing short of remarkable.
They've been decimated.
And Ali,
Subscribe, everybody. Good morning, good morning. This is Cash Jordan.
To the Supreme National Security Council, think of Marco Rubio, Secretary of State, holds that position now. He was the heir apparent. He is in charge.
Okay.
According to the Israelis.
That's the new
and
leader.
Certainly he is going to be targeted for sure.
Wow.
As are other leadership targets still that have not been touched. But the primary focus over the next 48 hours, as it was during the first 24 hours, are Iran's retaliation capability. We are hitting their ballistic missiles and certainly their drone storage sites. And in the next 48 hours, we'll likely touch 60, 70% of that capability. So we will see every single day less Iranian capability for retaliation for all the obvious reasons.
And sadly, for obvious reasons, the regime's sympathizers in America are moving as fast as they can now to try and stop this conflict so that the regime can survive.
Democrats in the House and the Senate were already prepping votes on war powers resolutions in the coming days. Now they want to speed up their timeline as Operation Epic Fury unfolds.
That's crazy.
They want lawmakers to come back to D.C. ASAP for an immediate vote on the measure, and there are many briefings from administration officials as well. Congressman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez saying the American people are once again dragged into a war they did not want by a president who does not care about the long-term consequences of his actions. This war is unlawful, it is unnecessary, and it will be catastrophic.
The long-term consequences of President Trump's actions are going to be no regime, no nuclear weapons, no long-range ballistic missiles, which used to be something everybody in America agreed on.
And I want the Iranians to know that if I'm the president, we will attack Iran. Whatever stage of development they might be in their nuclear weapons program in the next 10 years, during which they might foolishly consider launching an attack on Israel, we would be able to totally obliterate them.
So it used to be normal to say that Iran didn't have a right to project power and attack its neighbors or to attack Israel.
Madam Speaker, Madam Leader, you're saying that the president did not need authorization initially and still does not need any authorization from Congress on Libya?
Yes.
Wow.
Thank you
doesn't need it. So President Obama didn't need authorization to launch any of his attacks, but all of a sudden Trump needs it, and all of a sudden the Democrats need to speed things up and haul everyone back to try and keep this regime alive. Whose side are these people on?
Donald Trump has dragged us into a war the American people
No, he hasn't.
want. He has put American troops in harm's way. I unequivocally oppose this war of choice, and
oh my
everyone
goodness!
should.
Wow, can you imagine if she was
She's
president?
an absolute idiot, beyond belief. And then there was Democrat Rep Ilhan Omar. She said, quote, Iraq was attacked by the US during Ramadan, and it's sickening to know that the US is again going to attack Iran during Ramadan. The US apparently loves to strike Muslim countries during Ramadan, and I am convinced it isn't what these countries have done to violate international law, but about who they worship.
Oh my
Firstly,
goodness.
Emily, what the heck
Has
has
nothing to do
Ramadan
with
got
that.
to do with it? And let's not forget that October 7th took place on a Jewish holiday. And secondly, thank God Kamala never won, because the Democrats would still be giving billions of dollars to Iran.
Right. And here's the other thing. Iran, in their counterattack, who did they attack in addition to Israel and U.S. bases? All of their neighbors, who they also attacked. So what does Representative Omar have to say about that?
We have seen the Iranians systematically trying to target energy infrastructure, not just in Qatar, but also in Saudi Arabia and in Kuwait. Gulf countries like the United Arab Emirates also taking direct fire. You saw those images of a drone slamming into the Burj Khalifa, the world's tallest building.
Yeah.
And so this is a conflict that is expanding, but it also has a lot of different aspects to it.
This is revenge, because these countries, what do they use to defend themselves? U.S. military hardware. Who do they do business with? U.S. companies. These countries are secretly behind the idea of getting rid of this radical regime, and the regime is targeting them, as well as Israel and as well as our troops, as a last-minute power projection before their hold on Iran evaporates completely.
Iranians, while they're firing these medium-range ballistic missiles at Israel, they're using some of the shorter-range missiles to target Gulf countries.
Good morning, everybody. Thank you guys for being in the chat. Good morning, good morning.
That they sent these Su-24 tactical bombers to try and hit Qatar is a significant escalation. And again, we can report at this hour that according to Qatar's defense ministry, both of these jets were shot down.
Wow, they try to do a bombing
And when you talk about, those areas in Dubai, like the Burj, I mean, it's actually in a shopping mall.
Right.
I've been there.
And people are saying, oh, the Trump administration doesn't care about civilians. Oh, the Trump administration in Israel, they're attacking women and children. That's not what's happening. Iran is the one launching indiscriminate strikes. They're not launching tactical targeted strikes against high-value leadership targets to try and end something quickly. No, they're doing the opposite of that. They're just trying to spread destruction and mayhem as best they can, however they can.
That's an epicenter of where people go.
Right.
And you do have Americans, but we've been warned not to go to those places right now. I don't know what it's like on the ground for the citizens in the UAE right now.
It's awful.
Having that come from a place that you wouldn't anticipate it would be coming from in Iran. Wonder if it's not just a desperate attempt. Talk to me about the people on the ground in Israel. This could be a while. We're hearing maybe 6 weeks, maybe more. We're about to hear from the President of the United States. He may give us an indication of where they are. And
so Trump got out and said there is a big wave yet to come in the war with Iran, which means that the U.S. military is not only, as the president says, knocking the crap out of Iran, but that more is on the way. So this is apparently just the beginning. The United States has not put all of its cards on the table whatsoever, and more is on the way.
All of that, and also kind of the weak response of the Iranians, makes me think this might only be a few-week war, that President Trump will come out on the other side. I want to talk about Trump, but before that, again, I want to ask you, what happens inside of the country? Will it be the Shah? Will somebody arise in the opposition movement from inside? What is your prediction? I know you follow this very closely.
Yeah, that's something that none of us know. Obviously, the Mohammad Reza Pahlavi is having a lot of momentum right now. Every time he posts, he gets millions of views. So one has to say there's credibility behind the fact that he's getting that kind of momentum. People paying attention to what he has to say. I've been always critical about the fact that he hasn't moved urgently. I've always been critical, and I've even asked him on 2 different occasions, do you want this job or not? And he says, why would I leave a country of freedom in America to go back? But having said that, I got to give him credit for the last 2 months, 6 weeks. He's been playing offense like never before, and it's actually a very good thing. On the other hand, I don't know who's going to take over because I don't know who has strong relationship with the U.S. I don't know who's going to be able to play ball, to want to do diplomacy and deal with all these guys. I mean, it's not like you're going into a place that...
I think they do know what they're doing and that they already know it's over. Why else would they attack their allies? Why else would they try to punish their neighbors who could come to their defense and could be the only people that would say, hey, look, hey, Iran, leave them alone. They're just trying to make it. We want peace. We don't want this. Remember, that's what these nations were saying publicly before this all happened, and now they are dead silent. I think Iran knows how isolated they are, and their retaliation against their neighbors shows us just how they have made themselves enemies of the entire world. They don't have a friend on the planet, and that's why they're attacking everyone.
The build-up to all of this, right? The allies that the Trump administration built in the Gulf, among the Gulf region countries.
I'm going to play this next.
The planning, the intel.
Check this out. I'm going to play this next.
Right, they're all on the U.S. side. Everybody over here.
And also kind of the weak response of the Iranians makes me think this might only be a few-week war, that President Trump will come out on the other side.
Yeah.
I want to talk about Trump, but before that, again, I want to ask you, what happens inside of the country?
Yeah, that's something that none of us know. Obviously, the Mohammad Reza Pahlavi is having a lot of momentum right now. Every time he posts, he gets millions of views. So one has to say there's credibility behind the fact that he's getting that kind of momentum. People paying attention to what he has to say. I've been always critical about the fact that he hasn't moved urgently. I've always been critical, and I've even asked him on 2 different occasions, do you want this job or not? And he says, why would I leave a country of freedom in America to go back? But having said that, I got to give him credit for the last 2 months, 6 weeks. He's been playing offense like never before, and it's actually a very good thing. On the other hand, I don't know who's going to take over because I don't know who has strong relationship with the U.S. I don't know who's going to be able to play ball to want to do diplomacy and deal with all these guys. I mean, it's not like you're going into a place that...
Another thing that you have to keep in mind here is whenever a regime falls, and that regime has been running a place, you end up with a system where you have a country that is built on a foundation that the regime helped set up. Who do you think is going to be running the buses? Who do you think is going to be running the power company? Who do you think is going to be in charge of delivering water to people's homes? Who do you think is going to be in charge of infrastructure projects and of the local police force? Who do you think all of these...
I'm going to play this. I'm going to go back to Cass Jordan. I'm going to play this first.
So instead of being grateful for that gift, she screams at our president, shrieks at him. Doing idiotic things. And that's what we're going to cover today on the program, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to make sure...
That'll be right to the point. He's not right to the point.
And here's the other thing. Iran, in their counterattack, who did they attack in addition to Israel and U.S. bases? All of their neighbors, who they also attacked. So what does Representative Omar have to say about that?
We have seen the Iranians systematically trying to target energy infrastructure, not just in Qatar, but also in Saudi Arabia and in Kuwait. Gulf countries like the United Arab Emirates also taking direct fire. You saw those images of a drone slamming into the Burj Khalifa, the world's tallest building.
Yeah.
And so this is a conflict that is expanding, but it also has a lot of different aspects to it.
This is revenge, because these countries, what do they use to defend themselves? U.S. military hardware. Who do they do business with? U.S. companies. These countries are secretly behind the idea of getting rid of this radical regime, and the regime is targeting them, as well as Israel and as well as our troops, as a last-minute power projection before their hold on Iran evaporates completely.
Iranians, while they're firing these medium-range ballistic missiles at Israel, they're using some of the shorter-range missiles to target Gulf countries, along with cruise missiles and drones. But the fact that they sent
subscribe, everybody. Good morning, if you haven't. Thank you, guys.
To try and hit Qatar is a significant escalation. And again, we can report at this hour that according to Qatar's defense ministry, both of these jets were shot down.
Wow, they try to do a bombing
And when you talk about, those areas in Dubai, like the Burj, I mean, it's actually in a shopping mall.
Right.
I've been there.
And people are saying, oh, the Trump administration doesn't care about civilians. Oh, the Trump administration in Israel, they're attacking women and children. That's not what's happening. Iran is the one launching indiscriminate strikes. They're not launching tactical targeted strikes against high-value leadership targets to try and end something quickly. No, they're doing the opposite of that. They're just trying to spread destruction and mayhem as best they can, however they can.
That's an epicenter of where people go.
Right.
And you do have Americans, but we've been warned not to go to those places right now. I don't know what it's like on the ground for the citizens in the UAE right now.
It's awful.
Having that come from a place that you wouldn't anticipate it would be coming from in Iran. Wonder if it's not just a desperate attempt. Talk to me about the people on the ground in Israel. This could be a while. We're hearing maybe 6 weeks, maybe more. We're about to hear from the President of the United States. He may give us an indication of where they are. And
so Trump got out and said there is a big wave yet to come in the war with Iran, which means that the U.S. military is not only, as the president says, knocking the crap out of Iran, but that more is on the way. So this is apparently just the beginning. The United States has not put all of its cards on the table whatsoever, and more is on the way.
All of that, and also kind of the weak response of the Iranians, makes me think this might only be a few-week war, that President Trump will come out on the other side. I want to talk about Trump, but before that, again, I want to ask you, what happens inside of the country? Will it be the Shah? Will somebody arise in the opposition movement from inside? What is your prediction? I know you follow this very closely.
Yeah, that's something that none of us know. Obviously, the Mohammad Reza Pahlavi is having a lot of momentum right now. Every time he posts, he gets millions of views. So one has to say there's credibility behind the fact that he's getting that kind of momentum of people paying attention to what he has to say. I've been always critical about the fact that he hasn't moved urgently. I've always been critical, and I've even asked him on 2 different occasions, do you want this job or not? And he says, why would I leave a country of freedom in America to go back? But having said that, I got to give him credit for the last 2 months, 6 weeks. He's been playing offense like never before, and it's actually a very good thing. On the other hand, I don't know who's going to take over because I don't know who has strong relationship with the U.S. I don't know who's going to be able to play ball, to want to do diplomacy and deal with all these guys. I mean, it's not like you're going into a place that...
I think they do know what they're doing and that they already know it's over. Why else would they attack their allies? Why else would they try to punish their neighbors who could come to their defense and could be the only people that would say, hey, look, hey, Iran, leave them alone. You know, they're just trying to make it. We want peace. We don't want this. Remember, that's what these nations were saying publicly before this all happened, and now they are dead silent. I think Iran knows how isolated they are, and their retaliation against their neighbors shows us just how they have made themselves enemies of the entire world. They don't have a friend on the planet, and that's why they're attacking everyone.
The build-up to all of this, right? The allies that the Trump administration built in the Gulf, among the Gulf region countries, the planning, the intel, the Mossad, the CIA,
right, they're all on the
U.S.
side. Everybody over here,
and also kind of the weak response of the Iranians makes me think this might only be a few-week war. That President Trump will come out on the other side.
Yeah,
I want to talk about Trump, but before that, again, I want to ask you, what happens inside of the country?
Yeah, that's something that none of us know. Obviously, the Mohammad Reza Pahlavi is having a lot of momentum right now. Every time he posts, he gets millions of views. So one has to say there's credibility behind the fact that he's getting that kind of momentum of people paying attention to what he has to say. I've been always critical about the fact that he hasn't moved urgently. I've always been critical, and I've even asked him on 2 different occasions, do you want this job or not? And he says, why would I leave a country of freedom in America to go back? But having said that, I got to give him credit for the last 2 months, 6 weeks. He's been playing offense like never before, and it's actually a very good thing. On the other hand, I don't know who's going to take over because I don't know who has strong relationship with the U.S. I don't know who's going to be able to play ball, to want to do diplomacy and deal with all these guys. I mean, it's not like you're going into a place that...
Another thing that you have to keep in mind here is whenever a regime falls, and that regime has been running a place, you end up with a system where you have a country that is built on a foundation that the regime helped set up. Who do you think is going to be running the buses? Who do you think is going to be running the power company? Who do you think is going to be in charge of delivering water to people's homes? Who do you think is going to be in charge of infrastructure projects and of the local police force? Who do you think all of these people are? These are former regime loyalists. Are they hardliners? We don't know, but these are people who have a government relationship already, so they're going to not necessarily be willing to continue fighting for a regime, but used to work for that regime and remain in their position because they are the most experienced. But just before we continue, you may have seen the conversations happening online recently that censorship is back. And it's happening everywhere. Platforms are controlling narratives and pushing the stuff they want us to see, and we need to fight back. And Rumble is the only company that has stood the test of time and deserves our support. On the one side, Rumble has always challenged big tech censorship, and now on the other side, they've created something to protect us from the big banks that want to shut us off. Banks can cancel our accounts and freeze our credit cards. So that's why they've launched Rumble Wallet, a wallet that no one can cancel and that supporters can use to tip creators like myself.
Where they can pick and choose somebody that's a fair player, then Iranians can be free again.
I have 2 seconds left, but I know you follow leadership. What do you think this does for President Trump's reputation and his legacy if this is successful and it's wrapped up in a few weeks? Now, I know that you talk about, we don't know what's going to happen inside and how that's going to shake out, and that's always a problem. But what's your take on this move? Because it was bold and courageous in a lot of ways.
One, history books are going to write about this, and many of us will be able to say we were living during this time, but maybe they need to put a little spot in this place called South Dakota. They call it Mount Rushmore because during the last 100 years, I don't know a president that's done what he's done, and you got to give him credit for it.
And you know something? You got to give the Democrat Party credit for standing against every single thing President Trump does, even if it's a good thing, because these people, they are so anti-Trump and so against the president and so against everything that he does that he could literally cure cancer and they would have a problem with it.
Not just to Iran, but also to Hamas, as we saw previously in prior administrations. But I do want to note, just for the record, that the United States did not, in fact, attack Iraq during Ramadan. But you know who actually is attacking many Muslim countries during Ramadan? The Islamic Republic of Iran, which today alone bombed Oman, UAE, Saudi Arabia, Bahrain,
you ashamed of MAGA? I'm not.
Countries across the region in their
Faulkner.
Futile attempt
Good morning. Good morning.
to get back at Israel or the United States. Supposedly, they claim they're targeting U.S. assets in the Middle East, but I don't see how luxury hotels in Dubai or the Kuwait airport or the Dubai airport have anything to do with U.S. assets in the Middle East.
Yeah, that's awful.
Those are the people who are attacking Muslims on Ramadan. In fact, the Islamic Republic of Iran, if you look at all of their activities in the past 47 years, no one else is as focused on destabilizing and harming other Muslims, especially in the Middle East, as the Islamic regime in Iran. So Ilhan Omar has no idea what she's talking about. She's been a shill for the Islamic Republic in Congress for many, many years, having endorsements from NIAC, which is one of the lobbies that's considered to be a voice of the Islamic regime in Iran, highly controversial.
And those are the people endorsing the U.S. politicians that have a problem with this. Think about that for a second. These are the same people that say, oh, this has nothing to do with
I'm happy
safety.
for myself.
This has nothing to do with peace. This all has to
Very
do with money.
happy.
And saying that this all needs to end and that, oh, it's good for America to stay out of this. It's good for America if the regime stays intact. That's weird, isn't it?
These are terrible positions that she's held for many years. And now we see them being echoed by people like Kamala Harris. Thank God she didn't win the election.
Oh, can you
because again,
imagine?
she has no idea what she's talking about. She didn't then either.
Right, everybody welcome in the chat. Right,
polar opposite, the lack of moral
right,
clarity
Roman.
from these
Right.
individuals. We're so blinded by partisanship or by their criticisms of Donald Trump.
That's their plan. Their plan is criticize Donald Trump no matter what he does. Criticize him and take the opposite position, be anti-Trump. That's the plan of this political party. And these people think they're going to come into America and control it and win elections during the midterm and then win back the presidency in a couple of years. Can you imagine what that would mean for the state of the world? All of the things happening right now, the future peace and prosperity of the Iranian people, which is just around the corner for the first time in decades, that wouldn't even be on the table if these people were in charge.
Inspectors will monitor Iran's key nuclear facilities 24 hours a day, 365 days a year.
That was 10 years ago.
For decades,
and they built a nuke program.
Inspectors will have access to Iran's entire nuclear supply chain.
Unless they don't let them in.
In other words, if Iran tries to cheat,
which
if they try to build a bomb,
this did not age well.
Catch them. So the bottom line is this: whereas
2016,
expanding its nuclear program, we have now cut off every single path that Iran could have used to build a bomb. Whereas it would have taken Iran 2 to 3 months to break out with enough material to rush to a bomb. We've now extended that breakout time to a year. And
Dean Johnson, good morning.
Inspections and access to Iran's program, we'll know if Iran ever tries to break out. Now that Iran's actions have been verified, it can begin to receive relief from certain nuclear sanctions and gain access to its own money that had been frozen.
So all this did was empower the Iranian regime to get to the point that it did when President Trump had to go in and get rid of their nuclear program. That's all that it did. We know that this did not age as well as it sounded when it was put out there. Let's just put it that way.
We've achieved this historic progress through diplomacy.
The United States military is undertaking a massive and ongoing operation to prevent this very wicked, radical dictatorship from threatening America and our core national security interests. We're going to destroy their missiles and raise their missile industry to the ground. It will be totally, again, obliterated. We're going to annihilate their Navy. We're going to ensure that the region's terrorist proxies can no longer destabilize the region or the world. Prevail. To the members.
Has that not been what's happening over the last 10 years?
I have to ask about the differing views, let's say, inside your party about whether this is the right thing to do. Starting with the president himself campaigning on and saying in his inaugural address that there would be no more wars.
Okay, everybody has to understand this is a conflict. It looks like war, but this is something that is being done to defend the United States, and U.S. troops are not going into Iran. There is no invasion force necessary for this operation. You know why? The people of this country are ready to be rescued. They've already invaded it. They live there. They're ready to be rescued. They're ready to take it over. This is not going to be a long, drawn-out conflict. That's impossible. That would be bad for the people in this country that want to rule it themselves. That would directly defeat the purpose of everything that's going on right now.
And there were a fair number of Republicans who voted for him, liking that promise
Tucker Carlson is somebody who liked that promise. He told ABC that the president's decision to strike Iran is, quote, absolutely disgusting and evil.
Oh, so I will say your quote of the president was slightly off. He did not say there would be no more wars. He said there would be no more forever wars. Those are very different things. I emphatically agree with him. You are not going to see a major U.S. troop presence in Iran. He and I talked about that on Friday, talked about Israel leading many of the attacks. We talked about targeted airstrikes, taking out the military capacity of the regime to attack the protesters. And I also urged arming the protesters so the people of Iran could fight back because they
Is that going to happen? That was one of my questions. Is the U.S. going to help them?
We are helping them.
I hope so. I do not know for sure. I did not get a clear answer on that. That is what I advocated for. Look,
you almost don't want to have C-5s fly over Iranian airspace when they still have missiles and anti-aircraft systems and try to open up the back hatch and dump pallets of ordnance over the edge via parachute and just expect people to arm themselves. That would actually set the people against their own government while the government is fighting for its survival and has the capability to still retaliate. That might be a bad idea.
Subscribe. Good morning.
President Trump has said Tucker Carlson is a kook. He's an isolationist. His views are fringe. And Tucker Carlson has spent the entire Trump presidency attacking President Trump, attacking his foreign policy, because Donald Trump is not an isolationist. He's not interested in sending our sons and daughters to be in extended wars and have major casualties. But he does understand that when faced with a serious threat, you act. It's why President Trump bombed the nuclear facilities in Iran. It's why President Trump arrested Maduro. And it's why now President Trump is acting decisively to take out a theocratic lunatic.
So here's the thing you got to understand. Being an isolationist has nothing to do with whether or not you defend yourself and defend your country. If your country is threatened, you don't sit back and say, oh, well, because I'm an isolationist, I'm just going to let the threat come to me and I'm just going to suffer the repercussions of whatever the threat wants to levy upon my country. No, that's stupid. That's dumb leadership. But as we've seen with politics in this country, attacking the president, taking the opposite stance of the president, there's money in that for some people. What do you think is going on here? Do you think this is going to be a long, drawn-out affair? Are the critics of this operation right? Is Kamala Harris right? Is this a forever war? Let me know. See you in the next video.
Live with these other religions in the sense that is a... This video is brought to you by bacon. I ain't talking about turkey bacon. I ain't talking about beef bacon. I'm talking about all American pork bacon. It's delicious. That it did not come to coexist.
What?
Is raised high and nothing is raised above it. We can't think of that it came to live with these other religions in the sense
From
that
Chicago, I don't like this.
Religion amongst those religions, and they have a share with the truth, and they have a share of justice, and they have a share of, this worship of Allah, the correct worship of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Came to correct all of that. It came to remove the oppression of all those religions, and it is the only truth, and it is the only way to justice. The glasses? Oh, don't mind me. I am stoned. Let's get to it.
Ich hab nichts getan. Ich bin nicht auf dem Kopf. Das war mein Eismann. Machen Sie den Ort weg. Das ist meine Sicherheit. Bleiben Sie weg von mir. Was machen Sie denn?
It's a good boy there. Such a good boy. Give that boy all the treats, all the drugs. He deserves a vacation.
Thank you.
Actually, he probably likes his job. It's a hard working, it's a good boy there. Good boy. Do you see the conquering, entitled energy that they have? Like,
Like, how dare you think you get to go to somebody else's country and just tell them what they can and can't do? That sounds like an invasion. You know, one of the biggest arguments I ever hear the Squigglies say, they talk about the Crusades, but they never talk about the fact that the Crusades were the result of centuries of Muslim conquering. And we're not talking racism, we're talking history, centuries of conquered nations and slaughter in the name of Allah. Centuries. We ain't even talking about a generation. Centuries. Then came the Crusades. So next time a Squiggly brings up that, you remind him of the real history. If you don't like dogs, maybe you should go to a country where haram things are illegal. That's another way you've exposed your conquering mentality. It's over 50 squiggly countries. If one squiggly is bad, why don't you go to a different squiggly?
Hey, Ron, good morning.
Because those are the kind of laws you want, right? The squiggly laws. Why must you move somewhere else? Could it be because they don't want you? Or could it be simply because that book says, in very squiggly letters, you're supposed to be conquering and taking over? But that's a story for another day. Actually, it's not.
3 steps was immigrate, increase, eliminate. Immigrate as a religious refugee. Increase the number of your followers and demand political accommodation.
Good morning, good morning.
Previous culture.
Oh, so that's why
Good morning.
you go somewhere and tell them they can't have dogs instead of going somewhere where dogs are illegal. What did my man say? Hold on, we're gonna bring that back. DJ Drama.
3 steps was immigrate, increase, eliminate. Immigrate as a religious refugee. Increase the number of your followers and demand political accommodation. And then eliminate the previous
Bacon,
culture.
baby.
Gotcha. See, if you're going from one squiggly to a different squiggly, you're not spreading Islam. I got you. See, I'm learning. Have you seen the United Kingdom these days?
I'm so listen. We don't have control. This is from the same way that you guys I understand that you guys don't want to hear it. I would
Y'all funny.
you just move away and don't listen to him.
So let me get this straight. These people are complaining because a man is preaching in the street.
But they can go out in the streets and start praying in the mass. They be out there praying. Nothing wrong with it. But they doing it, trying to establish dominance when they doing it. They did it all in New York, playing their music out loud, kneeling and praying.
You see, this is why the squigglies and the liberals get along. They feel like they can just complain about shit that you do if they don't like it, instead of just going on about their business. I would recommend you just don't listen to it. But no, he shouldn't. He can't do that shit in the country he was born in. No, it's bothering me. Don't you understand? It's bothering us. You should have to stop now. No, but we live here now. So since we live here, we don't care about your laws. We don't like
fatigue, Aaron. Straight fatigue on this racism and color shit, man. You gotta stop.
It's how the UK has been treating them since they got there. They've been letting them take over.
Saying I don't want to be told nothing. You should be hiding. Just keep on going now. I'll confess it to you.
From the British
in case I have any blind fans who couldn't see the video, but they like the sound of my voice and they hear my talk, this lady was walking her dog on the street, on the sidewalk, and since a crowd of
going to get the bacon
guests in her country decided they didn't want to see her dog, the crowd made the police tell her she has to move. Now, the police didn't have to do that, but the police said they don't want you here with your dog, so you're going to have to go. She was born there. Like, I knew they was kind of bitch made in the UK, but I didn't know it was that deep. Y'all, crazy soft out there. Charmin soft. You're moist fam. The government's real moist fam. How do I can understand the ladies being moist, because, but the men who work in the government, you're also moist fam. But I understand how it's happening. It's like New York. New York, let me ask y'all a question. How does the city that had the biggest terror attack ever elect a mayor?
He's stupid. That's a good question, though.
Y'all are very inclusive. Shows how far we've come in this country. So yeah, this is basically the UK in a nutshell.
Calm down.
I can stand on the stand. Listen to somebody for the lady. There's no law against standing on the stand. I'm not obstructing the hallway. If people want to pass.
User, good morning. Amazing.
He's an old man, mate. Take it easy with him. Preaching the word of God.
I love the internet. I'm so grateful to live in the time that I live, because no one can tell me a narrative. I get to use my God-given eyes and ears and see for myself. More importantly, we get to connect with each other. Perfect example. How do you think Nicki Minaj found out about the Christians in Nigeria? People's cell phone footage showing the mass graves. That's why Nicki Minaj became Team Trump. That's why Nicki Minaj became Team Trump. Remember, she took that to the Democrats first, and they didn't care because she wasn't talking about ubiquitous stuff.
Hell, I don't know why we waste time talking to this bastard here, this clown here. He gonna repeat the same script over and over and over.
From President Trump to the people of Iran, innocent people, we are better allies to you, America, compared to these backward mullahs.
Want to really see something to say?
What do you think he is? Like he got like. You just can't make this up. Before I answer the question, let me just say this real quick. How are you doing? How is your family doing? Like he actually cared. You bastard. We see right through you. I tell you, good luck, New York City. How's all the free stuff working out?
Thanks.
Free, free, free. Socialist, communist. How's it working?
More MAGA shit?
Y'all
Well,
let me know. Where my New Yorkers at? I heard the New Yorkers
why not?
disagrees. I heard the New Yorkers.
This is my channel. If you don't like it, you can stay or go.
Some of y'all done packed up the U-Haul. Some of y'all already down here in my beautiful state.
You know, in terms of today, this morning's strikes by the United States and Israel prompting escalation in an illegal war of aggression. Bombing cities, killing civilians.
I'm still showing Democrat. He's a Democrat, right? I'm showing him. Well, he's showing him.
Portability.
No problem, Kathy. Thank you. Thank you. I'll be back tomorrow and Thursday in the morning.
Pursuit of regime change in this very region not that many years ago. Now, my focus as the mayor of New York City is on keeping each and every New Yorker safe. So I've been in close contact with our police commissioner, emergency management officials. We're increasing agency coordination and patrol.
Grand day. Good morning. No problem.
And additionally, to speak directly to Iranian Americans here in New York City, you are a part of the fabric of our city. You are our neighbors. You are our small business owners.
Why is she looking like this? Probably was a mistake.
Damn.
Of asking him this question. Look at her. She probably like, damn. Why did I ask him this question? I should have known I was gonna get this response. Tell you, man, these politicians, these Democrats, this brother here, it's a disgrace, man. But she looking like, I expected this response. I shouldn't have even asked him this. But this is what her body language is telling me.
Students, our artists, our creators, our community leaders, you will be safe here.
Now, this can't be true, huh? There's truth in there. That AI getting out of hand now. So that AI is so out of hand, we don't know what's real or what's fake on a lot of these posts. Where my fact checkers and debunkers at now? Because this clip is going viral, but people in the comment section saying, "Is this really true? Is this AI? Is this really true?" And some people were like, they're not surprised. This is what New York voted for. But look, I'm just saying, I think it's AI though. But we know AI, they can manipulate anything, man. They can do anything now.
Breaking news, New Yorkers have mixed feelings this morning. Mayor Mamdani has ordered flags on all state buildings to be flown at half-mast as Muslim Americans mourn the murder of Supreme Leader Ayatollah Khamenei. Breaking news, New Yorkers Americans mourn the murder of Supreme Leader Ayatollah Khamenei.
Last Ramadan, I was with many of you here at the procession on the martyrdom anniversary of Imam Ali, alayhi salam. It is a privilege to be here with you once again. I stand before you as the first Muslim mayor in our city's history, and this year as the first Jummah that I have attended in that new position.
Mamdani, this guy's been mayor of New York City for 1 month, okay? What he promised was a free bus for everybody, grocery stores run by the government for poor people to get food, which is a good thing, I think. And that rent was going to go down. Those are like the big three things he promised everybody. So today he's got his first meeting with the city about the budget. And what he says is, I'm raising property taxes on everybody by 10%, okay? Rent's not going to go down, actually. He's draining $1 billion from the rainy day fund, which I don't even know what that is, but it doesn't sound good. And none of the free stuff that he promised is actually happening.
The election of somebody like Mamdani, it is a game changer. We need somebody like Mamdani to be the mayor of New York. And that is a victory for the Ummah. I'm jumping the gun here, but this is one of the narrow-minded that need to break here. And if you don't understand this, then honestly, you need to rethink through your understanding of civilizational strength. Everybody has a role to play. Muftis have a role to play, and politicians have the role to play. Let everybody be active in their role. This is a strength of our community.
and of our greatest strengths, like I said, the political freedoms we have. The guy tried not once, not twice, 8 times to shut our project down. I don't want to go into all the details because of time. He failed miserably at every single level, and the project is still going full steam ahead. Do you understand what I'm saying here? The governor of one of the largest states of the world, Texas, everything's big in Texas, wanted to stop, and he tried.
Give you one reason to sub.
Multiple ways he tried.
Well, you're here now on the channel. You're interacting, I'm interacting with you.
Multiple reasons.
We can agree or disagree.
We deployed our lobbyists' money in the
and keep on going from there. Keep on growing.
And yet here we are still debating, can I vote or not? Does voting shirk or haram or kufr?
You have to be a Trump supporter to be on my channel.
In one galaxy and the world
just be you. Be on the channel.
Literally, it's just disconnected from reality. If we did not get involved, our masjid would have been shut down. Forget our project, right? These are some of the strengths. Very quickly, weaknesses. We have multiple weaknesses. Our biggest weakness is our percentage in this country. We are very disadvantaged. By the way, this is only in this country because across the Western world, mashallah, tabarakallah, percentages are rising to the point that it's terrifying them. Sweden, 10% Muslim. Oslo, Norway, 10% Muslim. Oslo, of all places. Vienna, the Ottoman Turks tried 200 years, they couldn't do anything. Vienna is 10% Muslim. Mashallah, tabarakallah.
Okay.
10% Muslim. England, London, it is estimated 20%. I was in Australia a year and a half ago. Australia, Sydney, there are districts the size of maybe half of Austin that are 60% Muslim. Lakemba, go look it up. Lakemba in Sydney.
Yes, I am an American.
You just can't make this up.
Thank you.
Hola.
Mi español no es el.
No te preocupes, alcalde. Si su hijo o hija está cumpliendo 3 o 4 años en el 2026, usted puede registrarlos gratis en el programa Kinder 3 o Pre-Kinder de la ciudad de Nueva York. Pero debe registrarse el 27 de febrero, que es la fecha límite. Cualquier padre de la familia de la ciudad de Nueva York.
Democrats in the party. See? They go AOC, they go Madani. See?
Importar su ocupación, ingreso o estatus migratorio es elegible para registrar a sus hijos.
But anyways, back on topic. Let's show you.
Have to be black to support Trump. Lord Oblivion. Really? So my channel wrong still? What I'm doing wrong? The border's closed.
future that people of Iran have been waiting for this moment for 47 years. You know, let's just make it very clear. Now, when I talk to Iranians, for 1 second, they scream out of joy when they hear that their killers finally being the target of the US government and they see justice. But at the same time, they are worried. They're concerned that if this is not going to lead regime change, that if this is not going to be the end of this regime, and if the American government, the Israeli government, only target the military leader, not the political leaders, then the people of Iran are going to be left alone on themselves by a wounded ISIS, by a wounded regime and government, and that's going to be a huge risk for my people inside Iran. I have family there. My parents, my brothers, my sisters, all my beloved people, they live there. But believe me, we don't want people like Zoran Mamdani or some of Americans lecture us about peace, about war, because this is a war being brought to us Iranian people by the Islamic Republic, by the warmonger Revolutionary Guards. And this is the moment that Europeans should join the US government, should join the Israeli government to end the Islamic Republic. If not, believe me, this regime will end democracy, will end American citizens' life everywhere, because the Islamic Republic is like cancer, and they will infect the rest of the world if we don't remove them.
Masi, we'll get to Zoran Mamdani, the New York City mayor, in a moment, I promise you, but you have lived experience with this, and there is something I want our audience to appreciate. There are tentacles within Iran's secret police and secret military services. They have tried to take out Mike Pompeo, former Secretary of State, John Bolton, National Security Advisor to the President of the United States, and you. Talk to my audience about that.
And me, an unarmed woman, I don't carry any weapons. I am just being the voice of millions of voiceless people in Iran who say no to Islamic Republic, who wants to have a normal life, who wants to have dignity. I know you don't want me to talk about Zoran Mamdani, but look, I don't feel safe in this city, New York, because of the Islamic Republic. And now I won't feel safe when people like Zoran Mamdani talking about safety, but sympathizing with the Islamic Republic who tried to kill me, who massacred more than 40,000 innocent people. How dare you? When you kept silent, when you were absolutely
silent. My wife is black.
When my girls, women...
Someone's talking a white chick. My wife is black.
When more than 32,000 innocent, unarmed people being massacred. When their parents, their family members burying them, but they don't get the chance to talk like Zoran Mamdani to the media. And now I see the mayor. Finally, he found the time to actually sympathize with our killers, not with the people of Iran. Really? You think that just talking about peace and talking about like no to war, that makes you a good person? Believe me, you need to look into the eyes of Iranians, those who have faced the war. You need to talk to the people of Iran who know in the region, Syria, Iraq, even people in Venezuela, that they have seen how the regime in Iran invaded their countries. We're talking about a regime that raped women for simply showing their hair. And of course, Zoran Mamdani was busy celebrating Hijab Day without actually talking about people getting killed simply for showing their hair. Like, listen, if I show that bit of my hair, I get killed. Like Mahsa Jina Amini. He kept quiet. I know that. A lot of Democrats. I'm talking to you. This is the Berlin Wall moment of Iranians. We are the East Germany. We are the East Germany. And believe me, we don't want war, but we don't want the warmonger regime. Help us. Be the voice of Iranians to bring the wall of dictatorship down. And that could have been done 47 years ago.
Yeah, I love my wife. Thank you. Definitely love my wife. If she was white, it wouldn't matter. But my wife is black, though.
American diplomats hostage. Yes,
yep,
they let
you.
them go. But they took the entire nation, Iranians. They took the entire
They think I'm a Trump supporter. I might have a white wife. No, my wife is black, and she voted for Trump like I did. We did it together.
Hostage. And this is the time. If we bring the wall of dictatorship down in Iran, believe me, the consequence is going to be bigger than the fall of the Berlin Wall, because this is going to guarantee global security.
Let me read for you, because my audience probably saw it, but I just want to read what exactly the New York City mayor said. Today's military strikes on Iran, carried out by the United States and Israel, mark a catastrophic escalation
right here.
in an illegal war of aggression. Bombing cities, killing civilians, opening
I
a
need
new
help.
theater of war. Americans do not want this. They do not want another war in pursuit of regime change. They want relief from the affordability crisis. They want peace.
Thank you, Kat. Appreciate that.
I can't believe it. I cannot believe it. I live in New York, Mr. Mamdani. You are more than welcome to come to one of my safe house. You are more than welcome to come and see my would-be assassin in the federal court. You didn't even dare to come and face
Y'all don't like her.
Where
Okay,
were
you guys don't like her. All right.
Killers here in New York City. You were crying for your aunt because she...
I'll switch it up. Let's go
might
here first.
be a part of America. You know, America is a pretty open-minded place.
Longer a Christian nation.
We're no longer. Here he is telling lies because his mouth is moving about Islam, especially religion. You do not want to go to a guy Hussein is a middle name.
No longer a Christian nation.
We're no longer
We
a
do
Christian.
not consider ourselves a Christian nation.
Oh yeah, not
The
Christian.
United States has been enriched by Muslim Americans.
Oh yeah, Muslims.
Since our founding, American Muslims have enriched the United States. Islam has always been a part of America's story. There is a mosque in every state in our union.
Yeah, that's a bad thing.
And over 1,200 mosques within our borders.
Thank you.
Let there be no doubt, Islam is a part of America.
Now, Islam might be a part of America. You know, America is a pretty open-minded place. We're incredibly tolerant. It is not part of our culture. By the way, on our Supreme Court, you'll see engravings. They can't show Muhammad, but it's of Islam, you know, bringing like the Code of Hammurabi or some law down as part of the tradition of all the West.
All the videos I'm playing, all connected. Is how you guys take it and put it together and get your own information from there. I'm going to pick anybody that's random that correlates with what's going on.
But look, Islam was invented in 700 AD. Like, it's a recent place. Went to Israel, you know, saw the Dome on the Rock. It had been taken over by the Knights Templar. That was probably a good thing in the Crusades, and then the Muslims took it back. But we're going to get more into that. That's just the opener on Barack Obama being a huge fraud. He would never say that about Christianity. He goes, America's no longer a Christian nation. Hold on there, buddy. Don't go kicking Jesus off the country just yet. I've got incredible good news about the hunt for Obama. We're going to get this guy legally. Check this out. This is all new stuff. Barack Obama just lawyered up, and now we know why. March 2nd, 2026, 7 a.m. Barack Hussein Obama has retained a team of 9 criminal defense attorneys, not civil, not advisory, criminal. Oh, what crime. You guys, if you follow the show, if you subscribe to the show,
yeah, Team USA.
like an intelligent
They won.
audience member, I think I found all of the smart people on the internet. I think I found all of the wise people. I don't mean smart intelligence, I mean smart wise. Clever, my people who can think for themselves. I think I have all of you already, so I don't even know how many people I could expect to subscribe in. The same man who told you, quote, hope and change is now preparing for a federal grand jury subpoena expected by March 7th. That's 1 week. Coming up this weekend, we're expecting something big. I'm not saying it's true. I'm saying there's rumors of it. The $150 billion lie in 2016, Obama sent Iran $150 billion and $1.7 billion in physical cash, pallets of money loaded onto unmarked cargo planes in the middle of the night. He told you it was a nuclear deal. It wasn't. The DOJ files yesterday released show that $2 billion of Epstein's network ran through Iranian banks. Did you guys see that coming? Epstein. I hate talking about Epstein. I can't help it that he was like a money washer for every corrupt country in the world. The Iranian banks, Deutsche Bank, JP Morgan, all these banks that canceled Trump's banking and Melania's banking and Barron Trump's banking. And Bank Milli Iran, a state-owned bank under Obama's nuclear deal exemptions. Obama didn't pay Iran to stop enriching uranium. He paid Iran to store the evidence. The server farm, the blackmail tapes, the financial records all moved to Tehran between 2016 and 19 on Obama's watch through Obama's channels with Obama's money. Trump just sent the military to recover it, and now Obama needs 9 lawyers. Did Trump find something in Iran that puts Obama in?
Can I do call-ins? I'm working on it.
There's the Clinton
See what I can do.
Here's the timeline. Doing a quick fire the warning shot on this because I'm going to wait to see if this story develops and solidifies. This is the first I've heard that went into Iran, found some servers, found some Obama evidence. Obama is one of the causes of this war. He's one of the funders of terror by sending them that pallet of money. He did not monitor where it went. Of course, Iran refunneled it into every terrorist organization known to man. And Barack Obama, these are naive Democrats. Flashback, August 2015, Barack Obama after the nuclear Iran deal. Iran will gain access to $56 billion. Our best analysts expect it to improve the economy and benefit the Iranian people. Ask the women stuck in hijabs walking around in bed sheets, covering up their beautiful faces. Wow. Barack Obama, feminist, is one of the most anti-woman presidents ever. Donald Trump, who they say was a misogynist, mean to women. They say, when he said, grab a woman by the hoo-hoo, they said, you can't vote for this guy. Trump, in liberating 90 million people in Iran, that's at least 45 million women. Trump has now liberated more women than any other president in our history. Let that sink in, dingling Democrats. Fakers. Here's your faker in chief. This guy was developed by marketing, Barack Obama. Empty suit, fake intellectual.
It is true that if Iran lives up to its commitments, it will gain access to roughly $56 billion of its own money. But the notion that this will be a game changer, with all this money funneled into Iran's pernicious activities, misses the reality of Iran's current situation. Iran's leaders have raised the expectations of their people that sanctions relief will improve their lives. Even a repressive regime like Iran's cannot completely ignore those expectations.
The expectations. What a professor.
Our best analysts expect.
I can actually talk over this guy because this is the dumbest crap that's ever been thrown at your face. This is gobbledygook. Everything they say is gobbledygook. You people accuse Kamala Harris. This is just Kamala Harris with a buzz cut. This is key rap. It has nothing to do with the truth. This is all marketing talk.
To go into spending that improves the economy, benefits the lives of the Iranian people.
Okay, just ask the Iranian people how much they feel benefited by your funding the Ayatollah. What an imbecile. We got suckered. I never have a problem with a guy like Barack Hussein Obama, a grifter like Obama walking around never bothers me. What bothers me is half the American people voted for him. Most of the American people voted for him and thought he was some kind of hero. That means we're dumb. We're dumb. And yes, I blame the American voters. I expect you to be smarter than to have a grifter antichrist like this. This is the black version. Now we're having the white version of Gavin Newsom come up and try the same thing. I think we see through it by now. I hope we do. But do we see through Thomas Massie yet? Bombshell, Thomas Massie. I have some Massie fans who are still trying to hold on to this grifting, fake, leftist loser, Democrat loser. No values. I used to be a fan of him, but boy, are my eyes open now. Bombshell, Thomas Massie has pulled in $1.9 million from Democrat donors and PACs, political action committees, for the 2025-2026 cycle alone. Why are Democrats funding Thomas Massie? Smart people in my audience, let me know in the chat. Why? That's a staggering 79% of Thomas Massie's total donations coming from the left. Why does the left fund Thomas Massie 79% of his money? Why? Someone tell me why. I want to hear a Thomas Massie MAGA I'm America first. Tell me why you're voting for a guy who's funded by 79% Democrat money. Just make it make sense. That's not even a judgment. You tell me how it makes sense. If we were truly the hardcore conservative, his fans claim, if he was, why are Democrats flooding his war chest? They don't donate to real threats. They invest in useful ones. Yes, it is. Thomas Massie might be the best tool the Democrats have. And don't buy this, it's just small $3,500 checks and grassroots excuse. Those add up fast and the numbers don't lie. Wake up, America. Follow the money. There it is. I don't know what Thomas Massie's deal is. It smells like bad cheese. He smells like bad underwear, is what I think. On December 4th, 2025, the Liberation, quote, America First Messiah was left honored and speechless when the Quincy Institute, founded by globalist billionaire George Soros, a notorious bankroller of radical leftist causes, presented the 6th annual award for responsible statecraft jointly to Rep. Thomas Massie and Democrat Representative Ro Khanna. Thomas Massie and Ro Khanna, he's speechless.
I'm not bi, I'm trans.
I'll say.
I'm not bi, I'm trans.
Yeah, you're trans. Here's Sean Farash on There's More Grifting on the Right. This is kind of my exposure of trying to split MAGA. Sean Farash, great patriot. On Nick Fuentes. I want to do a Nick Fuentes video later because he represents he's trying to take over the Charlie Kirk youth movement, wrestle it from Charlie Kirk's hands. In fact, I'm going to give you some Charlie Kirk here first. We'll do Charlie Kirk first. Then we'll do Nick Fuentes, who's trying to steal his movement. Charlie Kirk back in June. Charlie would be supporting Trump right now.
And you might say, Charlie, do you support or oppose this? I support President Trump. That's my answer.
Yep.
I know the man. He's the commander-in-chief. He's the man for the hour. And he's had the weight of the world on his shoulders. So in a situation like this, I support my friend. And he's had my back and I have his. That's my perspective. By the way, I also look at this and I say, and I understand the arguments of people that, don't intervene and all that. I get it. But boy, have we not exhausted so many diplomatic channels and options. Here is Netanyahu 261 praising and congratulating President Trump. Play cut 261.
Okay. Charlie Kirk had a brain on his head and understood nuance, and he would support Trump's bombing of Iran. There. And Israel's. There. Here's Sean Farash on Nick Fuentes. I'm going to show you some Nick Fuentes, who's hilariously disgusting. This kid has suckered so many MAGA youth. At first, I thought it was all a giant fake news invention of the right to fear Nick Fuentes, who I always thought was just a nobody. He really is a nobody. I mean, he's a lightweight. But lightweights on the internet can get a lot of traction. Here's Sean Farash. Nick Fuentes tried to sabotage MAGA in 2024 and failed. He's now trying to hand power to the Democrats in 2026. I've been telling you for years that he is not an ally. When you tell me to stop infighting with someone like this, understand, number one, he's not on my team, so it's not infighting. He never was on my team, so it's not infighting. He never will be on my team, so it's not infighting. This isn't infighting. It's eradicating an infection from an otherwise healthy body. Same with Thomas Massie. Same with all these people that say, I'm America first. I'm America first. I'm not an isolationist. I'm not a libertarian. Those are not the same thing. Let him run his mouth online. That's his right, true, and he should be allowed to do it. But there's nothing to gain by trying to appease this guy or play nice with him. He's one of our enemies. Here's Nick Fuentes. This is back in 2024 in September. I'm trying to get GOP voters to withhold their vote for Trump. Watch me. Heading out to Michigan next week. That's Nick Fuentes. Tried to get people to vote against Trump in 2024 versus Charlie Kirk, who said, hey, Trump's my guy. He's a buddy. He had my back. Here's Nick Fuentes now, furious that we're doing the Iran thing. This is the biggest, I don't know if he's anti-Semite. I don't even know what to call him. I think he's like a Candace Owens, just a spokeshole trying to get attention. He says Trump betrayed MAGA and America first. He has lost his mandate to govern. I cannot and will not vote for the GOP unless they put America and Americans first. You don't know what America first means, and you don't know what Americans first means, you imbecile, you child. If you keep voting after they dragged us into a regional war with Iran, then you will vote for absolutely anything. And this is from a guy who already did vote for absolutely anything. That is voting for Kamala Harris. And now he'll vote for whoever opposes, say, J.D. Vance, Gavin Newsom. He'll vote for Gavin Newsom to get clicks and to say, I'm going to take my ball and go home. Okay. Wait, there's more. Here's Scott Jennings. articulates the case for Operation Epic Fury on
Scott, I want to ask you about the politics of this, because it is mixed in your party. There are some.
Is it mixed in our party, guys? Is Nick Fuentes, are you guys still going to tell me that you don't support liberating Iran? I'm going to continue to make this argument all day, but that's Dana Bash. They're pretty happy over at CNN. Your party's divided, Scott Jennings.
With very big megaphones who are not happy with the president, because he did promise, not just during the campaign, but at his inaugural address, that he's the guy who's going to bring peace and not start wars.
Yeah, and he is bringing peace. Iran has been at war with us for 47 years. The central pillar of the regime is death to America. The other pillar is death to Israel, who is our ally. They have been at war with us. They have been killing American personnel and American soldiers for nearly 5 decades. This is not an attempt to start a war. This is an attempt to prevent further conflict. This is an attempt to get the largest state sponsor of terror off the field. This is an attempt to stabilize the Middle East. I don't view this, Ashley, as starting a war as much as ending the people who are the preeminent terror threat in the world. They're at war with everybody. They're at war with us, and they're at war with Western civilization.
They started it. We ended it. Wait, there's more. Kamala Harris with Iran. This is how Democrats and Thomas Massey do it. They just say don't. And what's the message to Iran? Don't.
And what is your message to Iran in this moment?
Don't. Well, yeah, we got to do Trump. Sorry.
In this moment.
Don't.
I'm going to bomb the shit out of them. I don't care.
That's him on the campaign trail.
Thank you.
He told us Nick Fuentes freaked out. Here's Elon Musk. This is Milo on Nick Fuentes. Everybody can see what you're doing. Nick Fuentes. Milo says, remember when Nick Fuentes had his money frozen by Department of Justice? Ask him how he got them to unfreeze it. Answer, informing. So he became an informant. Then ask when it was unfrozen. Ask for proof. He was lying to fans every day, taking cash off of teens, claiming his account was frozen 6 months after he got the money back from the DOJ. Elon Musk says doesn't make sense that the FBI leaves Nick Fuentes alone unless he's an asset of some kind. That's the smartest man in the world who has the most information in the world on hidden emails using his Doge, saying Nick Fuentes could be an asset. Don't become an asset against Trump, people. I support Trump. I support the liberation of Iran. I'm Doug in Exile. Subscribe.
Hello, I'm Gabriella Power.
So against Trump, like all of a sudden, all at once. Kind of weird how that works. So we got to talk about this a little bit more, and of course, we got to get on these Democrats who, of course, are crying. As you can see, AOC here, the president's disastrous decision to bomb Iran without authorization is a grave violation of the Constitution and congressional war powers. He has impulsively risked launching a war that may ensnare us for generations. It is absolutely and clearly grounds for impeachment. Of course, here we go with the impeachment talks again, right? Here we go. Democrat Ro Khanna. Check out what he had to say.
Donald Trump has launched a war on Iran. The Congress must reconvene on Monday to vote on Thomas Massey and my war powers resolution to stop this war. Trump says his goal is to topple the Iranian regime. But the American people are tired of regime change wars that cost us billions of dollars and risk our lives. We don't want to be at war with a country of 90 million people in the Middle East. Every member of Congress must go on record today on how they will vote on Thomas Massey and my war powers resolution.
Of course, it's him and Thomas Massey, of course. Goodness gracious, I can't wait till Thomas Massey is gone. Jeez Louise. You know, what I also find weird, how all of these folks are all of a sudden so against Trump. Like all of a sudden, all at once. Kind of weird how that works. It's almost like some checks were thrown around. I don't know that with 100% certainty. I'm just saying. I just find it weird. Do y'all too? Let me know in the comments. Let me know. I just find it really, really strange. All of a sudden, you know, all of these different individuals, Marjorie Taylor Greene, Thomas Massey, right? You got, big guys on the Republican side of the aisle, you know, that have large accounts that are all of a sudden talking against Trump. It's like, I wonder if these individuals got a check. Once again, I don't know that with 100% certainty. And honestly, I'm not even completely mad at them for speaking out against Trump. It's just weird, right? Everybody's entitled to their opinion. Doesn't mean I agree with it, but it's just weird that all of them, all of a sudden, all at once. It's kind of like what the Democrats do a lot when they all repeat the same lines. When Democrat politicians and mainstream media all say the same stuff all at the same time, it's like kind of obvious what's going on. Y'all let me know if you agree. I don't know, man. I don't know. But anyway, so of course you got Democrats angry about that happening. But Democrats actually kind of like it.
It is imperative the Democratic Party wake up and get past their dislike of Donald Trump, the President Trump, and their feelings of international conflicts going on. This is about national security. This is about what is possible in the Middle East. This is about being a good neighbor, good partner to the Gulf states and what their aspirations are. This is about supporting the people of Venezuela. This is about dismembering our relationship with
Flower of Christ,
not
thank you.
dismembering, but resetting our relationship with China.
Thank
Now,
you.
55% of the oil production that Iran produces goes to China despite sanctions. You want to support the people of Ukraine? You want to end that war? You have to. There is no getting around dismembering this Islamic Republic. It is non-negotiable. It is not a want to have. It is a have to have. And it's not just for the Iranian people. I think you have to trust the Iranian people. We know this government better than anyone else. When you dismember and decapitate this regime, you are going to see a change in the Middle East, in Venezuela, in China, in Ukraine. And I think, quite frankly, their ideology has really, it's caused a lot of problems for us worldwide. We need to take it seriously. And I think at this point, we have a tremendous opportunity. This will be like ending the Soviet Union, the Berlin Wall. This is a transformational moment for humankind, for security. And as an American, this is in our interest to complete it. So I am a Democrat.
Right, Trump losing money being in office.
I'm incredibly disappointed with my party. I do not see myself in them in this moment.
Yeah, we're going to go to commercial break, guys. We're going to get up out of here.
Right, too much truth.
So there you had it.
Thank you, guys. Thank you so much.
What's happening? And I actually posted a YouTube short yesterday. I'm going to see if I can find that again. Of CBS, if I remember correctly. By the way, if you don't watch my YouTube shorts, you're missing out on some good stuff, all right? You're missing out on some good stuff. You would have seen this clip yesterday that I dropped. Let me see if I still have it. If not, I'll just go to, yeah, here it is. So apparently, what's happening here is a CBS reporter, matter of fact, got notified that
the charge they put on was no good charge. It was all bogus. It was all misdemeanors, and they made it to be felony.
Right? That Iranians were having, American Iranians that were having,
Bud Russell, good morning.
Celebrating what Trump did. And you see it all play out live on camera. So a CBS reporter in Austin, Texas is being massively praised after refusing to follow a text message from his superior telling him not to focus on a massive crowd praising Trump's actions in Iran. They don't want us to focus on this. Well, I am, is what he had to say. I'm going to throw it up on the screen.
Too tired of them damn fouls.
Mixed opinions across Austin about the joint attack between the United States and Israel against.
So there you saw it there. Matter of fact, let me see if I can. Is this one better? The audio's still a little low. I'll turn it up though. So yeah, contacted by his superiors to not focus on him, and his reply is, "Well, I am." So clearly they are trying to control the narrative, but it ain't working.
Iranian here with a message for every single American who voted for President Trump.
So Mar-a-Lago, so you believe in the chat market. So anybody, y'all believe Mar-a-Lago is worth $18 million? Have y'all seen how big it is? Or been inside? I haven't been inside. I haven't seen it. I've seen how big it is. I've never been inside, but that's a big property there for 18 million. That's way more than 18 million.
Thank you. God bless President Trump. God bless the U.S. military. And God bless America. We can't wait until Iran is free and we can welcome you back to our country with open arms and be the allies that we used to be before the Islamic regime took over our country in 1979. That's it. Thank you. Thank you so much. And God bless America.
Amazing.
So why would Democrats be so angry? People are actually happy and celebrating.
Thank you. But,
once again, like
but yep, 500 million.
Venezuela.
They're trying to say it was 18 million.
City marched to celebrate the death of Ayatollah Ali Khamenei. Christine Sloan spoke with demonstrators.
Cheering the country they love and supporting those back home. Several hundred Iranian Americans marching to Times Square Sunday, hoping the Iranian people will finally have a chance to be free now that Ayatollah Ali Khamenei and 40 of his top officials are dead.
I was crying and dancing the whole day yesterday after 50 days of torture that they killed so many innocent lives.
This Iranian American NYU student came to the U.S. in 2023 and remembers being hit by rubber bullets during the Iranian protests for
9 million. I thought they were saying 18 million. You saying 9 million? They were saying 18 million. But it doesn't matter. It's worth more than all of that.
Because we were fearing for
They're trying to send them in jail for that shit.
My friends and my classmates being taken away from just right in front of my eyes.
Why they say they're celebrating Khamenei's death and carrying the old Persian flag as well as the American and Israeli and honoring the protesters killed.
We are. You know what that sounds like to me? Sounds like the Republican Party just got a lot of new voters. And I love it because when you follow through on your promise, right, which Trump said help is on the way, and he followed through, because as you heard there, not only is the Supreme Leader gone, but 40-something of his close,
He just thought he was a praiser. That's what it seems like.
Yeah. We ain't playing around. No games whatsoever. And you know what I find funny about this? All of these Democrats and these liberals and some of these rhino Republicans crying about this and saying it's illegal and he needed congressional approval. When Obama did the exact same thing in Libya, they had nothing to say. Nothing. And as a matter of fact, Nancy Pelosi came out and defended Barack Obama when he did the exact same thing in Libya when he killed Gaddafi. Check it out. Y'all know I come with clips, baby. Here it is.
Madam Speaker, Madam Leader, you're saying that the president did not need authorization initially and still does not need any authorization from Congress on Libya?
Yes.
Thank you both.
Thank you all very much.
What do you know? So when Obama dropped bombs on Libya, killing Gaddafi, he doesn't need congressional approval for that. You heard it straight out of Nancy Pelosi's mouth. You heard it. So it's cool if they do it, but it's a problem if Trump does it. All of a sudden, you need all of this congressional approval. You need this, you need that. This is illegal. So was it illegal when Barack Obama did it? And if it was, why weren't you speaking out against it? Oh.
You're up to all the liberals.
You know what else I find interesting about this whole thing? While Democrats are crying and complaining, I want y'all to check this out. Breaking. Democrats just got smacked by reality. A brand new poll shows Republicans surging +8 points on the 2026 congressional ballot. It's now tied 50-50 after we were down by 8. That's a 16-point swing. So on the generic congressional ballot, right, Republicans versus Democrats, we just had an 8-point plus in the latest poll that just dropped. And you mean to tell me this was a bad thing? Clearly the American people agree with it. Clearly, the American people love it. Now, do I think we should just be getting in war after war after war? No, and I don't think that's what this is. We came through, we dropped some bombs, we're still dropping some, make no mistake about it, all right? And we're going to get the fuck up out of there. Everything isn't Afghanistan. Everything isn't going to last years upon years upon years, right? This is the same thing the Democrats said about Venezuela. Not very long ago, I'm sure you guys remember, oh my goodness, Trump got us into another war with Venezuela. Did it turn out to be a war? I rest my case. I rest my case, right? We got a perfect example that recently happened when we took Maduro. I couldn't think of his name there for a second. When we took Maduro out of Venezuela, which was a flawless operation, even though the man was living on a military base. I mean, came through and did it dirty, but came through, swept them out, brought them back to America in one piece. Oh, Trump started a war. I don't see no war going on in Venezuela. So, give him some time, give him the benefit of the doubt, right? And let him work. Let the man work. That's one thing that I wish I was able to see is Uncle Trump having the ability to do what needs to be done without so much opposition. I mean, the guy is battling mainstream media, he's battling Democrats, and he's battling his own damn party every single day. Every day. You know how pissed off I would be if I had to do that every day? Y'all would hate me as president. I would be so mad. I would be cussing people out. I ain't gonna lie. I damn near be ready to quit. Like, bro, y'all just tripping. This is just ridiculous. Right? This is just crazy. You know, like I'm having to defend myself and my decisions and this party every single day of my life against my own damn party. Like, I get it against the Democrats. I get it against mainstream media, although it shouldn't be that way. But against my own
Jesse.
party.
Okay. Nothing wrong with that.
This is what y'all sent me. Y'all sent me the Thomas Masseys, the Tom Tillises, John
They kept saying death to America.
Shaws, the Lindsey Grahams. This is what y'all
Not cool. It's all bombing us.
Susan Collins, Lisa Murkowski, John Thune. This is what y'all gave me. I promised y'all that, and I can't get it done because y'all gave me John Thune. How am I supposed to win?
Right. Listen.
I'm so frustrated right now. I genuinely
Thank
don't
you
know
guys.
how
Thank you.
I really don't. I'd be so pissed. So pissed. I'm going to play this last clip for y'all. Check it out.
To me, the thing that really stands out, most importantly, is that nobody has come to the Islamic regime's defense. Not Russia, not China.
Bingo.
We thought that we were facing this great axis of evil that was uniting as a front to create this multipolar universe in which the United States was no longer.
After this video, that'd be it. I'll be back tomorrow and Thursday, 8 in the morning until. Thank you guys. Really appreciate it. Let's continue.
A superpower, and that turned out to be absolutely false. And what you can see from that is the larger picture of how the president is protecting the United States and setting us up for world dominance for generations to come. He is picking off our adversaries one by one, isolating them from each other and isolating them from their oil. Remember that 20% of China's oil came from either Venezuela or Iran. I mean, how are the Chinese supposed to take Taiwan now, minus 20% of their oil supply? So what we're really seeing here is, I'm calling it the locked-in presidency. He is just, every action he takes has not one, but 2 or 3 or 4 strategic advantages to strengthen the United States, to make us stronger, safer, and more prosperous, as Marco Rubio promised in his confirmation hearings. I think that's really what we're seeing.
Yeah, kneecap China. Kneecap. Took out a couple major sources of their oil. Major sources. Gone. And yet, this ain't for America? How? We just kneecapped one of our biggest adversaries. And not only that, I think also what this has shown us is that they are as big and bad as we once thought. They were supposed to be Iran's allies. They're supposed to come to Iran's defense. We just smacked Iran dead in the face, and they sat back and watched. Ooh. And did nothing about it. I think it says a lot. I think.
Yep. Thank you guys for being in the chat. Appreciate it. I'll be back tomorrow and Thursday in the morning. I work the weekend, so I'm a weekend warrior. I thank you guys. I really appreciate it. We're growing in this. We're definitely growing. Thank you guys. Thank you. Thank you. Tomorrow. Before I go, I'm going to work on doing the call-ins. I'm going to work on that. I'm pretty sure I got to pay for that app, whatever, but I'm working on it. Subscribe.